It's playoff night again for the Area Cup Series, the elimination round, the first of several in the playoffs for the 2023 spring season. Hi everybody, Kyle Heyer joined by Finian D'Acunha, Eric Wineland, and Hunter Sleppy as we get into round 2 of 5 in the Area Cup Series playoffs. Last time out, it was round 1 of the playoffs at the Indianapolis Road Course, but tonight we eliminate 4 of our playoff competitors, Finian, and get our round of 8.
Yeah, I know, it's exciting. It's really exciting for us in booth because obviously we're not going to be eliminated from anything. We get to watch 4 people. Unfortunately, they're going to have to be going home. But it's entertaining because there's going to be a lot of drama on the track, especially considering there's some guys, some very high priority drivers that could be going home tonight if they're not careful.
Yeah, one of those being James Scioli. Although he's only 2 points outside of the cutoff line, he could have had a much better finish at the Indy Road Course. Had a mishap on his only pit stop in the race and just decided to quit in the middle of it. And now we went from a comfortable cushion all the way down to being 9th, only 2 points out of the cutoff.
So the big thing will be to keep your eye on guys like Alex Weaver and Kazmin Yonoshibu. They have really nothing to lose. 9 and 7 points, or excuse me, 6 points out respectively. Kyle, that these guys, it's win or go home pretty much. I mean, they can point their way in, but it's going to be mighty tough to do that tonight with such high-profile guys at the top.
It's going to be a challenge tonight. Certainly, Las Vegas Motor Speedway known for being a pretty big challenge on the oval side of things, Finian. Multiple groups, multiple lines, but we're racing into the night here at Las Vegas this evening. That ramps up the intensity just a little bit. The track is cooler. The grip levels are higher. Especially the restarts will be a big challenge. Everyone's going to be incredibly aggressive trying to get spots on the restarts.
Oh, absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. It's honestly a really solid place to have an elimination event. You know, these guys have been going to speedways all across the entirety of the field. Across the entirety of the season, and get to see their prowess. If they haven't been good at the speedway so far, they're going to have to be good tonight.
Yeah, this should be an interesting one because this is the track where we decided the champion a season ago, and that race was won by Jake Nichols, leading 78 laps in that event of the 140. So led over half the race. Jake Nichols, another driver who really has nothing to lose, nothing to worry about. He's already locked in with the amount of wins he's had in the season, the bonus points. And look, there they are. Brother Tyler there, they're sharing the pit stall together. But the 91, Jake Nichols has nothing to worry about. Could go in with any sort of strategy he could if he wanted to. Looking over here now, Dom DeLeo. He ran pretty good here a season ago, got a top 10 P6 for the DeLeo machine in the 22.
Eric Wineland joins us on pit lane tonight. Eric, before we get into the racing here this evening, I want to talk about the playoff competitors here. We have 12 of them right now. They're all visible in the blue on the timing and scoring. But tonight the challenge could lead into green flag runs versus short runs like we've had most of the season. Last week at the Indianapolis Road Course, we didn't have any cautions. That led to a very different cadence to the race. This week, though, we're back to yellow flags, back to strategy. How do you think that's going to play in tonight, especially in the nighttime?
I'm no Larry McReynolds to look at my trends of a race, Kyle, but looking at it here, I mean, here's our 3.5-mile races we've had this season, and I'm including Atlanta, even though it plays much more like a super speedway. It's still the same distance. So we ran Charlotte most recently, 7 cautions for 25 laps there, 5 cautions for 15 laps at Atlanta, and only 2 cautions for 8 laps when we ran Chicago in the second week of the season, Kyle. And man, I expect strategy to be a factor here, but the race is only 140 laps. These guys can only go about 55 to 60 on a fuel stint, so it is a 2-stop unless we get that early yellow that they can try to stretch it at that point, but it's going to be a little tough. We'll keep our eye on it. But one other thing that I noticed here, guys, if I look at these 1.5-mile race results from this season alone, and I exclude Atlanta, we've only had 2, Chicagoland week 2, and then the Charlotte race just prior to the playoffs kicking off. Winner both times, a 91 car, Jake Nichols.
Yes, there's maybe some common denominators there, Finian, as we head into our race this evening. Big field tonight, almost 40 drivers, and that's going to ramp things up for the playoff competitors because last week we had a smaller field as far as the area fields go. That was at a road course where kind of you control your destiny for the most part. That was kind of a wild card, but this week kind of back to normal, as Eric Wineland mentioned, Finian. But tonight with a lot more non-playoff competitors, that's going to throw some wrinkles into it as well.
Oh, absolutely, and I'm sure there's probably quite a few guys that just did not feel like turning right. One guy that turned right the best out of everyone last week was Ricky Springer in the number 18 machine, and the way he's been running lately, it's been more less like Kyle Busch and more like Tony Stewart, winning both the last race at Indianapolis, the road course, and winning at Talladega the week before that to secure a spot into the playoffs in general. He's been on a tear lately, and he's pretty quick in practice here, 4th on the board.
He's going off that momentum from that Talladega win. That's all you needed, really. Just didn't need to get into any trouble there, because he was in a little bit of a pickle after Atlanta being inside the top 20. He's now inside and obviously doing well in the postseason. Now looking here at the Cup Series standings, it's very tight over there between 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. But Solar Flare Racing at the top once again.
I think this team battle is going to be really fascinating to watch throughout the evening, and as we head into our subsequent rounds. Again, we finish things off at the Nashville Super Speedway in a couple weeks' time. But, of course, next week we head to Auto Club. That's a much bigger racetrack. Then to Richmond is a short track, Vinny. And so we've still got 3 very different track types up in the next 3 weeks. And qualifying for this one starts in just a moment.
Yeah, switching up the different tracks we go to, being, a much bigger track, Auto Club, a lot flatter than the Vegas, obviously a short track in Richmond, and then slightly more conventional speedway in Nashville. Though Nashville, again, is relatively new to a lot of the drivers, being one of the more recent ovals added to the NASCAR circuit. So definitely some interesting tracks coming up to head. And curious to see now, as qualifying is just about to begin, who's going to be in the top going into tonight's race.
I definitely keep an eye on Ryan Arts, the fastest man in practice. He ran a lap time 29.843, about half a second quicker than the track record held by Alan Balancino. So I have to keep an eye on that, because it seems like that track record is going to be blown out the water.
It certainly could be with this new next-gen car. Of course, with the nighttime is the right time as far as lap times go. Fans, be sure to subscribe to the Area iRacing Twitch channel. For only $5 a month, you can watch all Area broadcasts commercial-free. You can also use new Area iRacing emotes in the chat. You'll also earn double channel points as a subscriber that you can use to redeem for free merchandise. Qualifying underway now as we head back down to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway in the middle of the desert. Cars on track now. This is going to be an important qualifying session because of that deep field we mentioned, Finian. The playoff competitors in particular need to get this right and have to pass as few cars as possible and spend most of their night up front.
Yeah, then this is where qualifying is going to be important, just to get yourself ahead of the non-playoff drivers. Like you mentioned, it's just traffic you don't want to deal with, especially because those guys out there right now, obviously they're going to try their best to stay out of the playoff picture, but they all want to get wins at this point, right? Because they're not competing for the championship. They don't need to worry about points. They're just trying to get out there and get some wins, and they're still sharing the racetrack. So you don't want to be competing with them, because you still need a good points day, especially if you're close to that cutoff line.
One driver looking to reclaim the Cup championship is David Weishart. Might have scraped the wall there, coming out too. He's retiring from full-time Cup racing. Could see him in some part-time events, kind of like the Area 500, Southern 500, just the big events. Would like to go out on top as the champion. Was Season 1 champ. Season 2 went to Jake Nichols, and Weishart looking to take pole and take the championship.
Across the line for his first of 2 laps, and he gets knocked down to 4th pretty quickly. Ed Robertson goes to the top of the number 64 non-playoff competitor. Seth Noel also provisionally on the front row for the time being. Andrew Player's on track. Cosmo Nunashiwu in the number 84, properly with the blue number background this week. Playoff competitor. He's fighting for his life here in the round of 8 coming up here shortly as well. He's on track, just kicking off his first flying lap fitting.
And JC LLC's whirling out on pit lane here, about to start his warm-up lap. And again, this is going to be an important qualifying effort for him just to keep himself out of trouble. We expect the 7 to be near the front, but you never quite know. You can see those guys that just tap the wall in one place or the other, or they just make a mistake, get loose, and spin out. So we'll see how the 7 fares out on the track.
Well, Gabriel Ellison has broken the track record along with the first 8 drivers currently, but pretty quick there for the 27.
And that is wild. 8 drivers all breaking the track record in one go. Ellison at a 30.116 is provisionally on pole for now. Ryan Hart's heading down the back straightaway really high out of turn 2. Seeing different experiments with the lines here in qualifying, trying right up against the wall here in this first lap, Finian.
I was going to say, high out of turn 2 is an understatement. He almost knocked the safer barrier down. He got really, really close to it, building up the momentum as he comes flying now across the start-finish line out of start at what I believe to be his actual attempt now.
Hart's entered plus 17 to the cutoff in heading into tonight and was the fastest man in practice. Not a good lap 1. We'll see what he can do on lap 2.
Bronson Stafford to the top of the board at a 31.06. 10 thousandths faster than Gabriel Ellison. Hart's out of turn number 4. Looks pretty solid this time. Up 4 tenths from his best lap. That put him in the 30.1 range. 30.154. Good enough for the top 5. Yes. P5 for the number 3.
And James Scully comes rocking across the line to finish his attempt, and he's up on pole. 30.105. 1,000 faster than Stafford.
Wow. That close. That close of a difference it makes, depending on where you're at in the corner, how you get off the corner. Boy, it's just the little things like that.
All stacking up. This is how this championship is going to get won, is moments like that, Eric, as we get closer to the tail end of qualifying. Scioli is going to have to do the best he can to move on this week, and putting that car on provisional pole is a pretty good start to week number 14.
Yeah, and he's feeling pretty good about it. Kyle, I got the chance to talk to him shortly after the week finished last week in area, after the Thursday race at Indianapolis Road Course. And he said, yeah, he got himself a little bit into a hole now with his decision there. Probably not his wisest one, but his team owner, David Weishart, was very descriptive about how he was not happy that James decided to retire from the race. But regardless, James still finds himself with his win from this season in a decent position, in a fighting position to try to get himself in. And of course, pole never hurts. I want to also touch on the track record for you, Hunter. So if you go back and include season 1, David Weishart held the track record with a 32.17 in the old Gen 6 Cup cars. And that would be Michael Sturgill's time exactly. So the top 11 right now, beating even the old track record that was about a tenth faster than what Alan Balancino did last season.
They just seem to find a way to get faster and faster each year.
Springer up to 4th quick. And Finian, you mentioned it, but this guy, and I think, Hunter, you touched on it too, he has just really come into his own here. This is you mentioned it being like Tony Stewart, Finian, how the 2011 season, Tony was just okay. Then you get to the playoffs, and all of a sudden it just starts winning races left and right. Ricky Springer qualifying and driving a lot better than the rest of the season would show you. Between his other 2 wins, Atlanta and Talladega, no top 5s, no top 10s. It was a whole season of bad finishes bookended by victories, and now he's got another one to his name from the IMS Road Course, but immediately looking like a contender in this one too. Alex Weaver to the top of the board, 30.105. 0.000 is the difference I have on my timing. That means it's down to the 100,000th for the top spot.
Yeah, I mean, just look at the top 3. You can see it for yourselves at home. The entire top 3 separated by pretty much 1,000th of a second, which is so infinitesimally small. It's genuinely amazing that they've all managed to get that close. I'm curious to see if anyone else will want to join the party.
I believe DW called that a 16th of an inch.
Yeah.
Maybe a 32nd of an inch because it was 2 1,000ths, so it was a 16th of an inch. Regardless, iRacing has given Weaver a round down. It actually has a 104 on iRacing's end compared to our 105 on our timing end. So Weaver was pretty darn close and was able to edge James Scioli right there.
That's really, really impressive stuff to have everybody land right on top of each other. Interestingly, Scioli's time rounded down to a 31.06 to Weaver's 31.05 on our timing. So interesting how the rounding plays a factor here. Here comes Shane Abbey out of turn 4 on his first of 2 flying laps. 3 minutes left to go here in practice. 31.077 on lap 1, but of course lap 2 is where the magic's been found for the majority of the field so far. And we're not seeing a lot of big delta in speed in the straightaway versus the corner here, Finian. It's a lift, but it's not like we're heavy braking like we did on the Gen 5 car, for example.
Oh, absolutely. Just a small little lift to get the car rotated, then you jump back on the power immediately. Got to be careful coming off of turn 4. Make sure you didn't get on too early, otherwise you'll find that wall very quickly. Shane Abbey across the line, going to go from 33rd up to 27th. Not the best qualifying effort for the 12 as you look at race slate. Also want to mention, saw Matthew Bell in the 9 have his qualifying effort. Did okay the first lap, made a mistake coming out of turn 4, had to lift off the gas because he's about to pancake the wall. He's going to be all the way back now in 33rd, and he's been dropping from a poor time.
Another driver who really didn't get a good qualifying lap in, that was Travis Benkter. He's currently 23rd on the chart, but he entered plus 20 to the cutoff tonight. So as long as he doesn't get it in harm's way, he should be fine. And also looking here, Dom DeLeo is just going to say he has yet to put a lap down, but with less than 2 minutes to go, he's going to see what he can do as far as where he starts in this race.
How about this one for you guys? If I'm seeing this correctly, the top 18 are within 1/10 of each other.
Yep, that is correct. 0.095 between Mark Patterson in 18th place and Alex Weaver on provisional pole. That's got to be one of the closest qualifyings in SimTV history, Finian. I'd venture to say that it is, unless maybe there was a Daytona race or something that was closer. But even then,
no, I think
this is about the closest you're going to get.
I think it was close than anything we've seen at Daytona. I think Daytona got within maybe a few 10,000ths of a second, but not within thousands of a second. And another man's going to join the party.
Okay.
Dominic DeLeo gets close up there in 5th.
All right, so 19 drivers, all within a 10th of a second. And that's going to wrap up qualifying, it looks like, Hunter, as Culberson, Ballard, and Balacino will not get times or start laps.
This is crazy. This is so close. I mean, look at it. 1st through 20th. They are it's so nuts.
Here's a look at this isn't race results, but qualifying results down to the top 10. 30.11 to a 30.14. And that's all with rounding in the top 10. Pretty unbelievable stuff for qualifying. And then here's the look down to 20th. 10th of a second. Pretty wild stuff.
Yeah, generally looking forward to this race now, considering how close the field is around this track. Hopefully leads to some great action here tonight under the lights. We were joking about it earlier. You know, they always say nighttime's the right time. For a lot of people, apparently it is the right time.
I would say qualifying with how close the time is, that just shows you how slim the margin of error is, especially at a track like this. And going back to season ago with the championship race, had 4 leaders, 9 different lead changes, no cautions. So expect this to be a track position race. And if you're like Alex Weaver starting up front, look at him. He entered last in the playoff grid here, -9 out. This is going to put him in a pretty good spot heading into the green flag here in just a moment.
We're not going to see a lot of track transition because of the time of day. It's nighttime here, but what are the things that we're looking forward to from a strategy perspective here this evening?
Pretty much, Kyle. It's going to be all about that fuel load in the back of the car. The tires, not too much of a fall off that I saw through practice. I mean, some guys had some decent 10, 15, 20 lap averages, but nothing that shows it's going to be too tough on those good years. It's mostly that fuel load. 55 to 60, like I said earlier, is going to be what we're looking at for the drivers. It depends on how much lifting they're going to do when they're in the dirty air compared to their qualifying time with perfectly clean air out there. So speeds will pick up. I mean, practice times, our top practice times were under 30 seconds when these guys were getting at it. But regardless, Kyle, if they can hit the magic window of about I'd say lap 20, and catch a yellow, they'll turn it into a 1-stop and definitely try it on fuel. But it's a 2-stop all the way. Probably split it in half is the best deal, unless you're playing the caution game, because cautions, they can happen on occasion here in the Cup Series.
They certainly can. Before we get down to our starting lineup here, fans, be sure to visit Roasted Gems Coffee for some of the finest coffee from all over the world. Use discount code AREA iRacing for 10% off your order at roastedgems.com. Big field here, Finian. Let's kick things off with our starting lineup here tonight for our 140-lap race. Starting row number 1, it's Alex Weaver in the number 4 with a 30.105 to Scioli's also 30.105, just more different.
And moving on back right in behind them, again, very close on the timing sheets. Bronson Stafford in the 61 machine. Next to him, Gabriel Ellison, the 27 is going to be lined up in 4th.
Row number 3 is Dom DeLeo's number 22. He'll start alongside Condor Okrezik in the number 14. He rolls off 6th.
Back in 7th, we find Ricky Springer in the number 18 machine. Can he make it 3 for 3 tonight? And the next to him, an abysmal qualifying effort from the 91 of Jake Nichols in 8th.
Yeah, P8, man, he's going to have a tough time. Chris Rabel starts in 9th. Ed Robertson will be alongside him in 10th.
Back in 11th is going to be Ryan Hartz in the number 3 machine. Next to him, Tom Bourne's going to be lined up in the 16 and 12th place.
13th place, 2 playoff drivers. Michael Curhan in the number 24, and David Weishart in the 33 starts 14th.
Danny Ware is going to be back in the 00 in 15th place. Next to him, Tyler Nichols in the 41 in 16th.
17th place is Tommy Ryan's number 99. Playoff competitor Kazumi Onishiwu, 18th in the 84.
Back in 19th is going to be Mark Patterson in the 51 on the inside. Rounding our top 20, Rafe Slate in the number 8.
Douglas Newbigging starts 21st in the number 71. Michael Sturgill, 22nd in the 17.
Back in 23rd is going to be Bryce Senesek lined up on the inside in the 0-9. Seth Noel next to him in the 1 in 24th.
25th place, Jeff Rhines, number 37. Travis Beckner, late start in qualifying, 26th for the 28 car.
Back in 27 is going to be Jonathan Cogswell, the number 26 machine next to him. It's going to be Brian Chambliss in 28th in the 25 car.
29th place is Garrett Grant in the number 5. Shane Abbey starts 30th in the number 12.
Back in 31st, Andrew Play is going to line up in the 13 on the inside. Outside of him, Jordan Martin in the 11 in 32nd.
33rd place, Greg Mitchell in the number 2. Jacob Powell in the 77 starts 34th.
Talking about guys who are going to have a long night. Matthew Bell all the way back in 35th, in 8th in the playoffs. He's going to have to hope for a good night. Next to Mal Valentino is going to line up in 36th in the 70.
37th and the last row, Delonte Ballard in the 21 and Dwayne Culberson in the 81 starts 38th. That is your starting lineup here for our 140-lap playoff elimination race from Las Vegas. Eric Wineland, who you got winning this race tonight?
Listen, I went back and looked through all the stats, Kyle, Finney, and Hunter, and one glaring thing that was very obvious to me. Since he joined the Area Cup Series, Jake Nichols has run 6 mile-and-a-half races if I exclude Atlanta because it's now a super speedway. Of those 6, he's won 5 of them. 5. And the one he didn't win was the second place to David Weishart last season at Charlotte. Jake Nichols, my pick to win tonight's race.
Hunter Sleppy, who you got winning this one?
I'm looking at the 7 of Sky early. I think he's going to have a bounce back, and he's going to put that 7 in victory lane.
Vinny DeCuna, who you got?
I think he's going to get it done 3 for 3. I'm going to put my money on Ricky Springer starting at 7th.
I like that pick too. Ricky Springer's my pick to win. He's on a hot streak. I think he goes for another one here. I think this is going to be a wild one. We're eliminating 4 of our playoff competitors. You're watching it here live on SimTV and twitch.tv/area iRacing. I'm Kyle Heyer, joined by Vinny DeCuna, Eric Wineland down in the pits, and Hunter Sleppy up here in the booth. Time to go racing for the 14th time this season. Race number 2 of 5 from the Area Cup Series playoffs. Time to go racing from Las Vegas. Roll the dice, take your picks. It's time to go racing. Green flag flies from Las Vegas. Seth Noel in the outside lane. A phenomenal start, 3 abreast as we get to the start-finish line. Lap 1 complete. Weaver leads the way. Everybody's sorting themselves out behind. It was the 1 car that got a phenomenal start, but now he's fallen into line into 16th place. Behind them, it's pandemonium into turn 1, Finian. Everyone trying to find room to race.
Oh, absolutely, especially that man right there, Jake Nichols, already up 2 spots, trying to see if he can get 2 more, trying to get past Connor Okrezik. Bronson Stafford directly ahead of him.
Really nowhere to go unless you just push the car in front of you and try to make it 3 wide. It seemed like Nichols wanted to do that, didn't have the room to do so. Reinhardt's over here in the 3, just trying to merge onto the outside lane, and there's DeLeo running the apron.
Everyone trying to find room right now. Look at the 14 of Okrezik on the bottom of the racetrack, trying to move up a spot on Bronson Stafford in the Simrap Market car. He's on the outside. Ed Robertson had a really good run in qualifying. Door slammed shut. Nichols throws the block on him down the back straightaway here.
Yeah, I was looking at Dominic DeLeo and Ricky Springer. They're both dropping back really quick. Springer can't quite get past the 22, and DeLeo's been losing position after position. He's down 8 positions since the start.
Well, it seems like the short run, not the run for the 18 of Springer. We'll see what happens on the longer run, but we'll see the comers and goers eventually. Meanwhile, 3 wide in the back. It looked like Yoneshiwu was right in the middle of that.
Yeah, in the 84, the 00 to the outside, the 99 to the inside. By the way, Tom Bourne had a really good qualifying run. He's up inside the top 10 here early, looking for a good run to kind of bookend his season. But mid-pack, there's still lots of shuffling and moving back here as we get some laps under our belts here. Here comes Jake Nichols. He's lost a spot to the 16 out of 4, and now back in 7th place.
Yeah, it's all about being patient a little bit here as he's trying to move up. He's slowly drifting back, just a spot or 2. Now it's stuck back on the inside. Looks like the first few lanes of cars in here are stuck on the inside, except Tom Bourne. He went to the outside, now looking to the inside, side by side with Connor Okrezik into 3.
Okrezik holding his own. Bourne sending it down on the bottom. He's going to take the spot away, so move the 16 of Bourne inside the top 5 as they are single file throughout the front stretch mostly. And then you got to go back to around Bryce Senesek and Don DeLeo still running that apron there on the front stretch where they're door to door.
Trying to shortcut that front stretch as much as possible. And here tonight, you know, in the past I would have expected the outside lane to come in throughout the evening, but I think with the low track temperatures, I think we're going to see the bottom kind of be the dominant line. I'd guess 67 is about as cool as it's going to get here. Look at the 41 of Tyler Nichols going defensive into turn 3 and trying to get by the 11. As up for the top spot, here comes Gabriel Ellison on Alex Weaver.
And how about these two guys fighting up near the top of the top of the running order, I should say. Haven't quite seen them near the front too often in the Cup Series, and here they are going at it side by side. Ellison potentially going to get the run off of turn 2 and is going to take the lead away from Weaver.
As I say, I wouldn't count out that top just yet. Seems like Ellison has found a way to get into the lead, and he has. New leader, Gabriel Ellison, the 27. That's not good for Weaver.
27 sprints out to it. At a car length and a half advantage here pretty early after he made that pass. I think he's going to be pretty fast back here behind the 99 of Tommy Ryan. This is for 24th, and it's getting pretty spicy back here too.
Oh yeah, it's still spicy. You mentioned 3 wide a few times tonight so far, and there's still 3 wide trying to sort themselves out in the midfield. It's around 20th place. Looking at now 51 Mark Patterson stuck on the inside. Cogswell getting around him, Martin getting around him.
It's like a bag of Cool Ranch Doritos. All the spice is at the bottom of the bag. All right, over here, they are still door to door, and some even 3 wide. As Weiland has an update for us.
Hey, 2 good things for you guys. Here is Alex Weaver talking where he feels his start went.
Right where we need to be.
So he and the rest of his IRLC team were pretty hyped about this start, except for Matthew Bell, obviously. Not a good qualifying effort for that 9 car, but he is starting to make his way forward a little bit, plus 8 on the start. I jumped down to Miller Racing as well, guys, because Seth Noel is plus 14 from his starting position, only 10 laps into this race. And here's some radio from his teammate, Cosman, in the 84.
So remember what I said when I asked what I wonder what Dirty Air is going to do to this?
Wait, Alice.
We're a dump truck.
Loose to the goose right there.
So conflicting reports there from Miller Racing. Garrett Grant was stupid loose at some point. I think he crossed some dirty air as I was listening to that, but Cosman was not happy whatsoever, guys. Said this is the day set on a night track, which is not going too well, and it is a dump truck in dirty air. That was his quote. Actually, there was a 4-letter word in there too, but I omitted that one.
Here's a look back at the 1's start. Watch the 1 car here. As we come to the green flag, he just sees the flag and he just goes. Just jumps to the outside and immediately gains 2, 4, 6 spots, all right at the drop of the green flag, guys. So that was pretty aggressive by the 1, but he made it work there, Finian. So he grabbed some spots and moved up a whole bunch.
Yeah, I mean, it's legal to pass on the outside on a start/restart, so totally within the rule book, so made the best of the situation, and he's been moving forward ever since, now currently up to 10th place.
Yeah, that is a interesting one there for the one of Seth Noel. Obviously, that's a fast race car. Meanwhile, got Tom Bourne and Okrezik fighting for the top 5 position. Bourne on the outside trying to get that run off the corner. It's going to keep him there for the time being.
Single filing out behind this group for the most part. A little bit more battling deeper in the field. I liked the Doritos analogy earlier, but here's the 16 again. I really like how this 16 car is running here early in the going, Finney, and this season has kind of been hit or miss for Tom Bourne in that number 16 car. There's almost a little bit of contact as he goes by the 14 to the bottom of the racetrack.
Ooh, Okrezik not happy on the radio, keying up to telling Bourne, really? On the radio, not happy with that, and Bourne made a mistake, clipped the apron, which I'm sure we're going to see quite a bit of tonight. Guys clipping that apron in 3 and 4, and even in 1 and 2, and it just kills your momentum.
Speaking of killing the momentum, the Whites are looking to the outside, trying to create some momentum to get away from the 91 of Jake Nichols, but it's just bringing this sort of second pack together with the first one, although Bourne lost a lot of ground that last time by.
For the lead.
Ellison.
Outside of Alex Weaver. Weaver's on the bottom of the racetrack, sideways. And has a big moment. He gathered it up, but he's going to lose more spots. What does the 33 do? Where does he go? Stacked up behind him for the moment.
Yeah, that was just him. It looked like Okrezik also had a bit of an issue.
I wonder if these guys starting to get loose maybe with the tires. I feel like it'd be kind of early. We're only on lap 15. Just hugged the bottom maybe a little bit too tightly and got a little bit loose on the exit.
Hey, man, Okrezik got loose, and now look what it created.
Oh,
now we
look
got
out.
3 wide on the front stretch here.
33 dives to the bottom, Rafe Slate to the outside. The 4 is the meat in the sandwich here. Here comes Ricky Springer to the outside, running 10th. He was one of the drivers that dropped down early. And the 33 is going to lose a lot of positions in this exchange, not the direction he wanted to go, surely. And even behind Ed Robertson is bottom feeding back there. There's going to be contact behind. The 00 and the 84 make contact into turn 3.
And here they go, off they go. Yoneshiwa is going to be the one that wins out on that occasion. Curran, Beckner, and the 00 Danny Ware all side by side still. Curran's going to clear Beckner now, as he's also one of those drivers trying to make up some spots due to bad qualifying. Up from 26 to P18.
Whoa, the 00 loose on the apron again. Everybody's struggling with grip right now, slipping and sliding all over the place.
And only on the bottom.
Yeah, even for second, here comes Scioli under fire from Okrezik, who's moving forward despite his own moment a lap or two ago.
And now you see 61 out of lane, so a lot of you were talking about comers and goers. It seems like a lot of guys are just going because they're making mistakes, slipping up. Stafford got loose in 3 and 4. That's why he's dropping back.
Yeah, he got big time loose, and not to mention he's got some connection issues, blinking in and out of the server.
Look at this, almost 3 wide for the lead and 3 wide behind them. This is chaos here, guys, at Las Vegas. Okrezik to second, and now the 91 has got his hands full of Rafe Slate and Seth Noel.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's going to be kind of tricky for these guys to be aggressive because obviously you want to make up every spot, but the thing is you could have a guy potentially wipe out in front of you, and that's the last thing you need, so you want to be careful of that.
Look at that guy. I'm not sure how this race went caution-free a season ago. I mean, we've almost had 5 cautions here, just 5 different wrecks.
We're due for one shortly. It's just too crazy for this to go on for too much longer. But every time we say that, we end up going somehow an ungodly amount of time. One of the drivers that really struggled at the start, one of those goers, was the 22. Eric Wineland on pit lane has an update.
Hey guys, update from Dom DeLeo. He actually pretty much spelled it out for me on this radio message.
Yeah, there was a question on whether or not I could make it to lap 70 and make it a one-stopper. I'm like 2 laps short, and I thought the draft could help me get there, but we're going to abandon that plan and save the tires, and hopefully we'll see you back up there.
So you saw Danny Ware go for a huge slide right there through the infield, but yeah, Dom was trying to see if he could make it. He says he thinks he can go about 65, maybe 68 laps on a single tank, so a little bit more than what I expected coming into this race, so we'll keep an eye on that as it goes, but he said he could not one-stop it. He tried, draft did not help him enough. One more for you guys here. This is Alex Weaver on that big moment he had and listen in to the radio for the IRLC Motorsports team.
Made him go nuts.
I mean, literally, that's what we were fearing in practice, man. Every time I get up underneath someone, it's just no traction. So now I gotta damage control this. It was running really good up there. That's not where I wanted to be.
So Alex did not have a fun time underneath somebody, got himself very loose with a little bit of air off of the right front of the car, and now he is mired way back down in 9th. Not exactly where he wanted to be off that start on pole position.
Thanks, Eric, and still lots of shuffling going on here. One of the drivers that had a big moment a moment ago, you saw it, was the 88 of Danny, or excuse me, the 00 of Danny Ware, right here, just loose all on his own. Dirt tracks it through the grass on the front straightaway, hops and bounces everywhere, but he gets it gathered up, Finian. But right now, the drivers are really struggling with grip, and being 3 wide isn't going to help.
I was going to say, they're struggling with grip, and they're still going 3 wide. Ellison all the way up near the wall, getting out of it. There you see Seth Noel in the one machine, commanding that car up near the front, up 19 spots from where he started, back down in 24th. And curious that DeLeo was trying to save his tires, some more 3 wide action. Yoneshiwa, Ravel, and trying to see who that is up on the top, the 61 of Stafford, all 3 wide off the corner, almost wrecking off the corner, and Curran almost looking to make it 4 wide. That's definitely not going to work.
No, and he's blinking too. I wouldn't do
that.
Look
out. Oh, boy. They're still banging doors into turn 1, guys. Calm down. You're still 3 abreast. 84 in the bottom, 29 in the middle, and leaning on each other, trading some purple and blue paint.
Oh, and they finally, I guess, sorted it out now. There you see Stafford going to be the one winning out in that battle for now as it subsides. But going back to what I was saying is that, yeah, I don't think these guys are definitely not going to be fueling the tires as Stafford sliding off the turn 4. Somehow he saves it after going from the bottom, sliding all the way to the top of the track.
This is just insane how these guys they will not wreck no matter what.
Look at Jake Nichols up to second through all of this. If there's one constant at the intermediate tracks here in area, it's this guy. And he can maybe bring some regularity back as the 61 is in the wall out of turn 2, guys.
Uh-oh, this could be the caution. If he doesn't get it up to speed quick enough, and looks like he'll continue on. But
he's got the whole right front suspension's torn off it.
I would say that right front tire does not look healthy at all.
And down the racetrack he will slide.
And taken out by a teammate. That's the most surprising thing from that.
Yeah, let's go back and see if we can pick up exactly where this happened. Okay, so we gotta go back a little farther than this. So this was out of turn 4, big loose moment here. Gets hit from the 84, the 29 gets to the inside, and Eric Weiland's got more from this.
Hey guys, so I was with Bronson right as that happened, listening to his frustrations here with Cosmin Yonoshiwu.
Bang, Cosmin.
So he said he was not happy. Cosmin did reply and said he missed the bottom a little bit, but pretty much that's still a valid line for him to run. He's just right above the bumps, which, depending on who you are, may consider that to be the bottom line in turns 1 and 2, because that right against that white line is very bumpy. But regardless, Bronson not happy with the driver of the number 84.
Yeah, that's tricky. I mean, I think both of them probably could have given each other some more room. The racing right now is just so high octane that I'm not even sure the teammate thing crossed their minds. They're just racing really, really hard and not willing to give an inch. But guys, there's still 110 laps to go, Finian, so I'm not sure that I'd be racing my teammate that hard, and it's just not worth getting sent into or sending a teammate into the wall this early in this race.
I can't believe we've only I can't believe that we've only been 30 laps in this race. Feels like it's been a 60-lap race so far. It's kind of impressive.
Oh, looking back at it, Cosmin entered this race -6 to the cutoff line, so he's got to get every position that he can, even if it means having to move a teammate out of the way. Although I'm sure he didn't want to have to do that. It was an inadvertent move of him, but you know, you got to go for what you can get.
Side by side here for the 24. By the correction, those drivers were not teammates, but similar liveries throwing us off there. But regardless, probably a little too early in the race to be fighting that hard. I know Cosmin's got a lot more to lose than the 61 in that particular moment.
Yeah, we're starting to see now as you look at the rest of the field, everyone, for the most part, a lot more spread out compared to where they were about 15 laps ago.
Ricky holding on to the 4th spot right now, and
caution.
Trouble, and it's Alan Balacino, and more Yonoshiwu's in it as well.
Garrett Grant just went flying into, quite a few guys involved in this, actually.
Well, we're going to have to go back and take a look at it with our Simrat Market replay to find out what happened to the Simrat Market number 84.
Right there out of turn 2, just kind of washed up. There was kind of separate incidents going on here, but these two were the ones that tangled. That's a huge hit for a playoff competitor. Although, given that these cars have...
And there's Garrett Grant. Oh, wow.
He got hit again.
Jacob Bell came flying in there.
I mean, given these cars have kind of tank status right now in iRacing, it might be all right, but right here, 5 backs in.
Even then, it's going to be a massive setback. Eric, you got a word for us on that wreck that just happened?
I have radio from Matthew Bell. I was with IRLC. He is not happy, and I'm not going to replay it for you guys because Ed just absolutely destroyed him from not checking up, and then Ed got stuck in the wall.
Yeah,
he actually bounced off like a geometry opening in the wall that shouldn't be there, as you guys are seeing in your picture. But yeah, he never saw the wreck, smashed Matthew Bell, and then the safer barrier entry right there. Open geometry, I guess, guys, that just caught Ed Robertson up.
So yeah, that's right where the gate opens.
Right there, you're right. It is the gate opening there, so that might not actually be a geometry mistake, but it still sucks to hit that. But that's just one of those areas that in the real world is not quite as reinforced as the concrete and safer barrier around it, and just found a blunt edge, and that's going to be big damage to the engine, I'm sure, on that 64. If it's not, I'd be shocked. But a lot of drivers down pit lane. Everyone's going to take the opportunity to take a deep breath, put some tires on, but there was a whole lot of cars involved. Matthew Bell, Jacob Bell, Alan Balacino, Robertson, Grant, Delonte Ballard is got some big-time damage as well. And 5, 6, 7 cars involved in that in some way.
Yeah,
So
the
Kyle-
crazy. Oh, continue, Eric.
I was just say 4 tires and fuel for everyone down here on pit road in front of me. Kyle, Finian, Hunter, remember I was telling you guys about that caution that would happen somewhere around lap 20 to get them on a 1-stop the rest of the way? That's this. It's lap 32, a little later, but it's a 1-stop easily the rest of the way for these guys that did take all 4 tires right there. And one other note for you, Kyle, you mentioned prior to our broadcast kicking off that Las Vegas was one of those that could really use a rescan. I concur right there with what we just saw into 3 because there's a safer barrier all the way around.
Yep.
Most NASCAR tracks now.
I was just going to say that you know, I think the cool thing about safer barrier, if you've ever seen how it's hooked together, basically the steel tubing, the square steel tubing kind of links into itself, and when you have it kind of connecting to concrete, there's no real nice smooth way to connect it. At some point, you could peel back the end of it and have a blunt impact, especially around those gates. Now, the way it is where there's safer all the way around the track, there is no way to get to the blunt edge of a safer barrier. So that is one of the side effects of having the entire track wrapped in it. But this track in particular, you see the other thing on the right-hand side of your screen, that nasty opening in the backstretch wall that Jeff Gordon found in 2007, which was the year that this track, or 2008, I think, which is the year that this track was laser scanned. There's a lot of bad areas on iRacing tracks that that no longer exist, thankfully.
Yeah, I was gonna say for good reason, like you mentioned. I was gonna say as soon as you mentioned the opening in that wall, I knew you were gonna talk about the Jeff Gordon wreck, because I remember that wreck. I was cheering for him.
Oh man,
rooting for him, and then I saw him spinning out of turn 2. I was like, dang it! And then I was like, oh god! And then I saw him get out of the car. I was like, okay, good, he's alive.
That was my experience.
Dale Jr. should have won that race. Just throwing my opinion out there.
It was just like how they removed the grass at Talladega. I was a young Kyle Busch fan watching Kyle tumble down the backstretch in 2007 in the Busch Series race when they still had the grass back there. They've since fixed that too. And then he hit the wall at Daytona in turn 1, and then they paved that over too. So Kyle Busch and Jeff Gordon finding a lot of gnarly areas to hit. Hey, what about Atlanta too? Remember Jeff Gordon, was it 2015? Right after the Daytona, the backstretch wall went from safer to concrete, and Jeff found that too.
Yep. Well, there's no drivers do nothing better than to find the worst place to hit walls sometimes, unfortunately.
The interesting thing about the Kyle Busch wreck, they actually extended the wall closer towards the track and put safer barrier in it. So not only did they repave that area, there's actually a wall that's pushed, like a separate wall that's pushed about 50 feet closer to the track now.
Yeah, the idea of that was to reduce the angle of incidence there so that you're not hitting it at such a blunt kind of head-on angle. It kind of reduces it to a glancing blow. But lots of I find racetrack safety and improvements to be a pretty interesting area. And this track is an example of how bad things were not that long ago.
So, got the field lined up, ready to go here. Connor Kresick leading him down.
Now, Kresick leading. He was pretty aggressive, had a couple big tank slapper moments, but leads us back to the green at lap number 35, 106 laps to go. Quick look at our race recap so far. 3 leaders, 2 lead changes, and here we go, back underway from Las Vegas.
Oh, look, De Leon now with a strong 3-star on the outside.
Drivers been pretty aggressive out there trying to grab spots on the restart. Does anybody know where we're at with the restart zones? I wonder if that's going to play a factor here towards the end of this race up towards the front.
Well, that one
trouble in the background. Big crash. The 51 of Mark Patterson is around. He gets it straight, but nosed first into the outside wall. Caution back out.
They were pushing it there. Balancino and Bell, they got too close coming out of 2 and made contact with the outside wall, and that's what started that.
Yeah, right here. Squeezes Matt Bell. Nothing really he could have done there. Balancino comes back across the racetrack. He gets tagged and spins down to the inside. And I think he was just past that nasty wall opening that we were just talking about. But again, I think Patterson here just tracks up a little bit too high. The 9 car is there, and that's one of those frustration moments if you're Matthew Bell. It's like, man, I was here the whole time, but on a restart, you got your blinders on, you're focusing forward, and stuff like that happens.
Yeah, and almost had a few guys. You can see a lot of guys that were involved in the last wreck narrowly getting through. So a few guys taking some more hits, Balancino and Yoneshibu being 2 of them that got involved in this wreck as well. And you see Bam hooked right in the wall. I don't think he hit anyone else after that.
Balancino did not have a good view of this. He actually sandwiched Patterson in between Matthew Bell.
Hey guys, here's some audio for you on Alan Balancino. Listen in.
I'm thinking first.
Go. I'm starting in second. I mean, you're the leader, so do what you want to do.
Well, no, like that's what I'm starting. I'm gonna go 6-2 restart. So 3, 2, 1, go. Good stuff.
Really? You're gonna block me?
Okay, I'm gonna back up. I'm too far. Just back everyone up. Okay, caution.
Now I'm dead.
Oh, well, I hear that. That's not ideal.
The spot. Ricky got second.
So all that squeaking and movement, guys, that was Alan Balancino on his sim rig. He had a great restart, but got blocked by Matthew Bell, as you heard. He wasn't too happy about that, but it's whatever. But then he was right behind the incident that happened, and that was him trying to control his car as he went spinning in an inside wall, and not a good time for the 70 car. He is on pit lane, getting damage repaired. No meatball, so he can come back out here, but the nose has seen better days, specifically that right front on the 70 car. But nobody else down pit road except for damage repair for the 51 of Mark Patterson, the 9 of Matthew Bell, the 00 of Danny Ware, 84 Kevin Yonoshibu, 77 Jacob Bell, and obviously the 70 of Alan Balancino, guys.
Thanks, Eric. And yeah, that was one of those. You could feel that as an iRacer Finian. You've been there. You're just, you're having a good race, and all of a sudden, bam, 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 and then you're just in the wall and it's over.
Yep, I mean, again, like we were mentioning, with the way the cars are now, you're kind of fortunate enough in a way where you can fix the car up to as close as good as possible. A lot more than I would say some previous generations of the cars. If you just spend enough time in the pits, just kind of get all the dents banged out in order. So we'll see how much Balancino can fix his car up here as we're back under yellow here for the second time.
So here comes the 84 back down pit lane, and this is pretty critical, Hunter, because he's a playoff competitor. And again, coming into the night, here's a look at the standings. He was already down 6 below the cut line, and Scioli and Ellison having much better nights. Alex Weaver running in the top 10. So Yonoshibu is in real trouble if he can't get a decent result. He's still on the lead lap as it stands, but he did not need this impact, this damage, and this track position loss to affect him here. And it's looking like pretty slim chances with all the damage he picked up earlier.
He's going to need a miracle and a half to see if he can somehow find a way to get inside this top 8. It's going to advance to the next round of the postseason. If he can stay out of trouble, and I don't know how much damage he got in that initial wreck, if it's too chaotic or too cosmetic to, well, what's the word I'm looking for? If it's too damaged to move up towards the field, then he might be in a pickle here where he can't get out of.
Big time damage to the front splitter as well, which these cars pretty sensitive on their aerodynamics. The rest of the field doubling back up here, Finney. I wonder how much more of this we're going to see now that everyone knows how wild these cars get, or if we're going to see some more carnage on the restarts, if we'll get a nice long green flag run like we did at the launch. My guess is that the Pandora's box has been opened with what we've learned in the first 30 laps or so of this, so I'd expect a lot more chaos to continue.
Well, I think so. I'm sure guys are going to probably try to green the systems out. Honestly, be surprised that by the time the night's over, the admins don't start to step in and prevent guys from doing something like that, because it seems like a lot of guys are realizing that that's the way to go. If the guy in front of you doesn't get going, just jump the outside lane. You'll gain at least 2 to 6 spots by doing so. So we'll see how this restart goes here coming up.
Field rolls out of turn number 4 behind the pace car. And we have 101 laps to go. Nice tight pack formed up out of turn 4 here at Las Vegas. And time to get back underway. Green flag back in the air from Las Vegas Motor Speedway and the Area Cup Series. Elimination for the round of 8. Look at the 18 to the outside, guys. Ricky Springer dropped early in the first run, but here he is back and ready to play again.
Yeah, he's ready to play with some big names near the front. Jake Nichols and the man who's been leading quite a few laps up in the front for a while, the 14 of Okrezik, all doing battle near the front of the order.
Whoa, right behind him, though, Scioli, Seth Noel, Rafe Slate, almost 3 wide. Got a little wiggly there for Scioli on the bottom. They're still 3 wide, getting close in the 3. Here comes Hartz on the outside.
Big power move for the number 3. Positions gained up there. He's unlocked something out there. When the field's packed up on the bottom, that upper groove is pretty good. It's something we'd see in a day race here, as that outside line being viable. So far tonight, it's been the bottom and the middle. Maybe there's something to be learned. Here comes Nichols to the outside now for the race lead.
Oh, you can use quite a bit, especially when the guys on the bottom are suffering from the dirty air. They have to check up. They can't really go full throttle because they got to give room for the guys on the outside who are pinching them down to the bottom, as Hart is still trying to make up some spots now as Nichols has gotten past Okrezik for the lead.
I think he's looking to set sail from this pack over here as they are multi-row deep side by side down the front stretch, and it's almost like pack racing, almost like we never got rid of the 550 horsepower pack.
I was going to say, it looks like they're pacing at 175 miles an hour, 2 even lines through 1 and 2. Look at Michael Curran in the 24 to the bottom. He's going to go 3 wide with Jordan Martin for a moment. Tucks back in line behind the 11. Now the 8 of Rafe Slate side by side with the 3 of Ryan Hartz, but it's Nichols, Okrezik, Springer, your top 3. Rafe Slate is now clear. And here comes the 12 with Shane Abbey with a big run to the outside.
Yeah, Shabby, another guy that's moving quite a few spots up from P30 to P13 as the caution is out in the background. It already sorted itself out? I think it might have.
I think it did. There's still a lot of drivers on the back straightaway. Look how chaotic it is. Everyone trying to get sorted back out after a big moment.
This is an interesting one.
Was the primary
Jeff Ryan.
Ryan in the 37. Let's go have a look.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun one to watch. Oh, so that didn't bring out the caution. This did.
Wow, we went for quite the ride there, huh?
Yeah, he got turned not once, but twice.
And Newbegin wasn't about to let him push him below that white line in the 41. Not really much he could have done. Right on board with Tyler Nichols. Thoughts?
Not really. I mean, yes, we say sometimes you're the bat, sometimes you're the ball. Jeff Ryan was the ball twice in that scenario.
Yep. 2 pitches, 2 catches. And it's a little bit of a split decision here on pit lane. A couple drivers going to come down. Jacob Bell in 21st will be the first of them to show. We've had a couple of opportunities to look at our Sim Rat Market replay. Fans, be sure to check. Be sure to visit simratmarket.com for custom iRacing paint scheme templates that are simple to use and help you stay more focused on the racetrack. Eric Weiland, what you got on that one?
So no radio for you guys on the incident. I do have some radio for Solar Flare Racing that I'll queue up in a moment, but I wanted to give you guys the pit report. Nobody down pit road except Jeff Ryan and a couple others that were at the back of the pack that were tagged up in this one a little bit, and some guys still getting damage repair from earlier incidents. Here's the radio from Solar Flare during that green flag run just before Jake Nichols took the lead.
There's some rubber being put down, by the way, on the very inside next to the white.
So it's like
sides are.
It's snap. It's got a dead spot, and if I go too far past the dead spot, it snaps. But after that, it's fine. It's controllable.
Huh.
I have nowhere there's no way I'm gonna be competitive though.
That's fine. For now, you don't need to be. So
I can hang on the back of the pad.
So that was Jake Nichols saying that he's seeing rubber be put down, and you actually can see the dark strip right there, just about half a foot to a foot off that white line. Rubber being put down through 3 and 4 that he noticed, as well as Delonte Ballard giving his report on his car after an earlier incident prior to the backstretch yellow flag that involved Ed Robertson. Delon has some toe damage. He's got a dead zone in the wheel, he said, but he's trying to power through. Why is he trying to power through, guys? that team championship. Solar Flare still at the top of it. They're trying to maintain the just over 100-point gap they have on Jacob Bell Racing and David Weishart Racing.
Thanks, Eric. A really interesting note on the rubber. This is turns 1 and 2. Look just above that white line. This is turns 3 and 4. There's actually a pretty sizable difference in the amount of rubber being laid down at each end of the racetrack. Significantly more on the bottom of 3 and 4 than you see in 1 and 2. Now, Finian, I'm not exactly sure why that would be, other than I find Las Vegas to generally be nicer to me in the upper groove in 1 and 2 and a little bit more bottom feeding in 3 and 4. I mean, I'm not sure if that's what's contributing to this, but it definitely is picking up a kind of an uneven rubber laying, which could be an interesting factor here later in this race.
I think also what it has to do with this is the fact that, we see a lot of passing occurring on the front straightaway due to its curved nature. A lot of guys getting great runs off turn 4, then, diving down below the apron or even running up top and getting side by side. So the field's a little bit more spread out. When they go through 1 and 2, they get more single file going into 3 and 4. And I think that's playing into that discrepancy in the tires, the rubber spread on the bottom lane.
I'll give my 2 cents here, Finian, is and you'll notice this probably tomorrow night in the Area Truck Series race here at Las Vegas as well. But turns 1 and 2, the bumps just sometimes upset the car so much that you just don't want to be down there. If you want to try to maintain as much mid-corner speed as you can, and especially so with the more downforce on the truck, it's going to be like a full throttle, almost like a super speedway style race. Those bumps are just going to upset that vehicle just that much more. So why sacrifice speed to be just a little bit lower on the racetrack when you could have more corner exit speed up there? 1, 2 grooves up in 1 and 2. Obviously 3 and 4 are a little more smooth. That's why everyone's kind of favoring the bottom. Probably why we're seeing more rubber down there.
Interesting to note. There is some rubber on the bottom of 1 and 2, just not anywhere near as much as we're seeing collect there. It's definitely a distinct line at the bottom. In terms of marbles, though, I don't see a lot on either end of the racetrack. Again, given that it's kind of the nighttime, the track is still accepting quite a bit of rubber. We're not slipping and sliding around a whole lot, but we are coming to the restart here, closing in on lap number 50. Jake Nichols is leading. That almost felt inevitable, Hunter, but Connor Ukrezik and Ricky Springer, that first run, he dropped backwards, and Springer's right back in the mix, running third, and seems to have pretty good speed, too.
He's got consistent speed, and like I said, going off that momentum from that win at Talladega all the way up to Vegas, where he's keeping that same momentum, that same energy inside the top 5. And to your point about marbles, I'm not surprised that there's no marbles on the racetrack, because they're using every inch of the racetrack that they can. There we go, coming up on the restart.
Well, everyone's lost their marbles, I can tell you, by how wild it's been, so no surprise we can't find them. Here we go, lap number 49, back underway from Las Vegas in the Area Cup Series playoffs. 22 again, jumping to that outside groove. And we're 3 wide for a moment as the 16 look to the inside of the 24. And the 22 still trying to use that upper groove.
Yeah, and off they go down the back straightaway, still side by side for the most part, and spreading all across the track now on the outside. Trying to see who that is. That's Seth Noel. Indeed it is. He's trying to rock around the outside. 3 wide. Whoa. Almost touching doors with the 4 and the 18 off of turn 4.
Like I said, using every inch of the racetrack. That's what Seth Noel is doing right now. Even on the trial.
That's the 7 car. Scioli right back into traffic, and it's a huge crash and huge impact for playoff competitors. The 9's in it and more.
They're still wrecking.
Scioli just pancaked into the 11 and Jordan Martin. That's going to hurt him immensely. It's the last thing he needed to be involved in.
Big time damage on a lot of these cars, relatively. And that was a big, big crash down there at turn number 1 and 2. Let's have a look at it. We're going to look at this one in slow motion as well. We're going to need the time to kind of pick this one apart. It started a long way back, really out of turn 4. Watch the 1 and the 8. I think you're going to see it start up here. And then the 7 goes, does it go to the inside of the 18?
I think he comes down on the 4.
I think so. You can see with the 4, I think he gets up into the 1, then gets hip checked into the 7. And then everyone else gets involved. The 11, the 27, Raywell getting a solid piece of that. Bryce Senizak getting turned around.
Leo caught a little bit of it too.
Sturgill involved.
29, a Raybell gets picked up in the end of it. But either way, that was a big hit for a lot of drivers in that. And Scioli, that's a big one for him.
You guys, radio from David Weishart Racing. Listen in.
I can.
Oh my God!
On a quick box. My lane's going nowhere again.
You're three.
Oh, I'm dead. Jesus fucking Christ, dude.
I'm dead. Yeah, but that was Seth.
Season's over.
I think I'm sitting an inch and a half taller
Fun while
now.
it lasted, boys.
Seth came off the wall and hit the 4.
So apologies for the explicit words there, but just happy to be riding on board with David Weishart. I said this restart may be wild for you guys. They said they hope so. They were ready for some action. I don't think that's the action James Scioli wanted to see right there. He was 3 wide with Seth. I don't know that Alex or Ricky even quite got the call. And probably this chance for James Scioli to go toward a Cup championship. He's got massive damage tonight, guys.
Yeah, and that was, again, see the hard impacts taken at every corner of that number 7. Don't think it was the 1's fault, though. I think the 4 kind of drifted up there a little bit, and the 1 really didn't change grooves. So I think that was, obviously the 1 got up there pretty aggressively at the exit of 4, but by the time they got down here to turn number 1, I don't think he was actually at fault for this. But the velocity of these impacts is what's going to do the 7 in.
Yeah, a lot of solid hits there. If you want to get a good onboard of someone that just about avoided it, if you want to look at the 13 engine player, got a great view of the wreck. Might need a new pair of racing overalls for him.
It's just one of those things where reminds me of the crash hit with, I think it was with Greg Biffle at Kentucky or something, or Brad Keselowski, where they came back up the racetrack and just swept across the track. You can see that here. Watch the 7 go down onto the apron, and then as he reverses back up onto the road, just clears out everybody with him. The 09 that gets absolutely obliterated by the 81 and all that. 13 down on the apron. Greg Mitchell kind of snuck through here as well. Just big hits, high velocity hits, and it did in a lot of good drivers and good cars in this one.
Yeah, notably a lot of playoff drivers involved in there. Kazu Nishio involved against James Scioli.
9 of Matthew Bell, hard nose on impact.
And all guys competing too for like the final spot. So there's a lot of guys trying to get themselves in, taking out in that wreck. Yeah, Gabriel Ellison as well, you can throw him in the mix. And Alex Weaver. In fact, all the bottom 5 of the bottom 5 of the 12 playoff drivers all involved in that.
You got to go back to Indy Road Course where, again, Scioli had a mishap on pit road and Seb just racing through it, just trying to muster what he could. He left the server. Like, he hauled that forward. He left, and that is probably going to be the difference maker here and why he possibly might not make it to the next round. We don't know if he can continue or not.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one. I mean, it's going to rely on a lot of other drivers having some really bad luck from here on out if he manages to make it through, but I'm thinking that might be it for Scioli.
Yeah, especially because looking at Matthew Bell's car, he was involved, but that car is actually looking pretty in one piece compared to the other guys he's racing with for that final 8th place spot.
I'll tell you what, that right side door is pretty knocked in, but these cars are pretty strong in their current state. So if you can avoid the engine damage component, the bodywork really won't be that big of a deal. We are 1 lap to green here before we get back to green. I'd like to take a moment. It's been a pretty spicy race so far. Maybe not as spicy as Rick's Hot Sauce. Fans, be sure to check out rickshotsauce.com for some of the best hot sauces made locally in South Florida. Be sure to follow the Rick's Hot Sauce Rookie of the Year battle in the Area Cup Series and see who will take home the $100 prize as the highest finishing rookie in the point standings.
Yeah, and actually, sorry, before we go back green, one driver, actually, big driver we forgot to mention that was involved in that is Michael Curran. He's still down in the pits getting repairs, 2 laps down in 31st. He's 17 points up on the cut line, but being all the way down the order, that may not bode well for him. So to see, you can see how the points are going to play out. It could be interesting.
Here's another thing real quick before we go back green is that we had a much smaller field last week at Indianapolis, so a bad finish there is not going to hurt you as bad here, Hunter.
That's true. I was going to say, there's a lot going on. It's green flag back out. We're still not even halfway through.
Yeah, it's a long way to go in this race, but I think that crash took out a whole bunch of drivers. That might quell the chaos for a little bit, but that might not be a safe assumption either. Back to green here in turns 1 and 2. Jake Nichols leads, 3 non-playoff drivers, and then Hartz now make it Springer round out the rest of the top 5.
As I say, considering we had 6 playoff drivers and on the last wreck, there's only really 6 up near the front, or really 5 in the picture up inside the top 10, and a bunch of guys now realizing they have a shot to win. Look at Seth Noel ripping the top lane, a huge, massive run off of turn 4. He's going to lead the lap.
He's going for it. He's going for that lead too, and he might clear the 91. He will. Seth Noel to the lead in Vegas.
He's been aggressive since the very drop of the green flag with that initial start where he gained 6 spots by turn 1. Now defending down the back straightaway. Look at Ryan Hartz clipping to the bottom past Rafe Slate. It is on for the top 5 here.
Rafe Slate trying to build up that run on the top side, trying to see if he can do something similar to Noel like he could on Okrezik, but can't quite get it done. We'll have to peel back in line. The first few rows getting sorted out, and even the back few rows also getting sorted out. Not as chaotic as we saw the initial start.
No, not as chaotic as you can see. They are awfully spaced out here for a restart. Weishart close to that outside wall, as well as the 81 of Dwayne Culberson.
7 is back out on the racetrack, 1 lap down, and just ran a 31.210, so about a second off pace. But if he can just cling to a couple of these spots, and even maybe get back on the lead lap, his championship might not be over. But here he is running in traffic, got damaged, but the car is still moving. So if he can just cling to the bare minimum, he might be able to scrape on by.
He might need a few more yellows to get the car in better shape and also get that lap back. That'll help him out quite a bit as he looks still single file up near the top, but so close together here. Noel can't quite escape the clutches of Nichols and Okrezik. Speaking of which,
ooh, they're door to door for second.
Into turn 1, Nichols on the outside. The short run seems to have fallen to the favor of these other drivers, but we talked about comers and goers. And we've seen the 91 kind of drop back here in the early run, but that might mean he's got the long run pace as he typically does here. Eric Wineland's on pit lane.
Hey guys, update for you on the 7 car. He said his wheel is about 90 degrees to the left as he drives straight. So I think that's a little bit of an exaggeration there for the 7 car. He's not quite that bad off, but he said it's badly hurt. He doesn't know how he's still out here on the racetrack. He did also have to get a black cleared from race control because apparently he passed under yellow as he came to pit road after the wreck. He says he has no clue how that happened with the state his car is in. So it doesn't look too bad to us in our pictures here on the broadcast, but trust me, that 7 car not good for the driver behind it. Meanwhile, here's radio from Brian Chambliss and this is the Keeping It Real Esports team, car 25 on the restart, watching Seth Noel.
Seth's up rolling the wall up there.
Yeah, I see it. I don't know if I want to go up there yet. I just want to relax a little bit. These guys are still racing hard.
So Brian pretty much the only one left in that stable because Chris Rabel was caught up in one of the earlier wrecks, but that 25 car maintaining 17th right now in contention. Watching the 1 car go to the lead on the outside there, and now he's watching David Weishart and Ricky Springer try to go after Seth Noel, guys.
Did you just see what the 18 just did in the last lap? Ripping that high lane, guys. Holy cow, he made up a whole bunch of spots. We're going to watch this battle for lead, then we'll go back and watch what the 18 just did, but he made 6, 7, 8 spots up in a lap, and the 33 has also found some pace up there as well. Let's go back very quickly and have a look at what we saw. Watch this 18 down the back straightaway.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about that outside lane coming in, and there we basically saw exactly what it means for that outside lane to start coming in. You see how much of a run he gets off the corner, and then just use it as much as he could to get that run and made up all those spots. Now is finding a little bit more trouble to find that extra little bit of horsepower to try to work around both Weishart and Noel.
3 positions there on the outside, and they were checking up a little bit on the bomb, so that's why it seemed like he had such a massive push. It also seeming to have a massive downfall is Jake Nichols. He's fallen all the way down to 9th since the restart.
Yeah, I wonder if that's just management. You know, we've always seen Jake Nichols really come in later in the race. Not really a short run kind of guy. He's going to pick up a couple here, though, as Beckner gets split 3 wide. Here he dives to the bottom underneath the 28, but I think the 91, Jake, he knows how to save the tires for later in this race. We are seeing a little bit of fall off in these races, so maybe there's something to save there, but otherwise, I just don't think he's that strong on restarts. At least tonight he hasn't been.
Well, we did see how sketchy the tires got after that first initial run of around 30 laps. We saw it started to get really sketchy for a lot of the drivers out there, to the point where we saw 3 guys spin independently and all wrecked. So I think Leading's trying to save that. That's for the end of the race, make sure the car gets out of one piece.
One driver making sure he can get it done in one piece is the 33 of Lysart. He is starting to put a little gap between he and the one with Seth Noel. Had some comments over the radio following that crash that involved driver, fellow teammate James Scioli, so obviously he's going to keep that in mind, as well as looking a little further back here. Jake Nichols, Michael Sturgill, 8th and 9th, as they are spread out inside the top 10.
3 of Ryan Hartz to the inside of Ray Slade into turn 3. Nichols back in 8th place again, I think. Give this guy 15-20 laps, he'll be right back up in the mix here, I think. But tough racing right now. Finding the difference in lap time has been challenging tonight. When everyone's ripping, as we saw in qualifying, the delta in pace is not significant, Eric.
Absolutely not, Kyle. And here's some radio for you from the Physicus Motorsports crowd with affiliate Ricky Springer in here as well. And we're talking about that 91, guys.
And the tires are gone.
Oh, my tires are fine. I'm just taking it easy because I knew I just burnt them the fuck up on the top.
No, yeah, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about everybody else. Like, I'm not worried about them. Where's Nichols? He's my only concern right now.
I passed him outside on the top 3 wide.
I don't even see him on relative, and I can see back to like 8 or 9.
That's concerning. He's super saving.
And unfortunately, I cut the radio off. I quit recording right as I was leaving the channel. And literally, Kyle, something that you said is what Connor O'Kresick had said about 5 laps ago. He said, wait until lap 80 here, and we'll see Nichols coming back by us. So they are definitely concerned about the 91 in the Physicus camp. Also, apologies, I forgot to mention, hold the ears, little ones. We got some 4-letter words that are slipping through on the audio tonight. It is a playoff race. It's a cutoff race at Las Vegas.
It certainly is, and yeah, that's what this is just a pattern we've seen at these mile-and-a-half tracks. Jake Nichols just tends to lay back, and the more he lays back, the harder he's going to charge forward later in the run. Tonight we haven't seen crazy tire fall off, but certainly if Nichols is making everyone nervous, then there's something to be nervous about. Look at battle for a second now. Seth Noel and O'Kresick side by side into one, and Ricky Springer, Finian. He's been a constant tonight, but those two door to door.
Yes, he's door to door, very close to door, off in the middle of 1 and 2, and off the corner as well. And you see Springer trying to see if he can slot himself into the equation, as they still almost wreck each other up in front of him. He's decided he's going to take the top lane around, or at least try to take the top lane around, and get a great run out of turn 4.
Another driver that got a good run out of turn 4 is the 91 of Jake Nichols. He's following the tire tracks of Ricky Springer there, and he is all over the bumper. Springer is on the one of Noel, still looking to that 3rd lane. And a little too close to that wall, trying to run the Larson line there. But Jake Nichols is coming.
Springer got a huge run out of the corner. Going to try to look to the inside, and Seth Noel will do so in turn 3. He's going to run uphill. He's going to door the one out of the way as O'Kresick gets the apron in behind him.
And here comes that 91.
Can't do much there. Tried to take him 3 wide, didn't have a strong enough run to do so. Maybe he can thread it through the middle.
I think the outside's the place to be right now. It's just, if you can get the momentum built up there, you can just slingshot around everybody. We saw Springer do that a couple laps ago. When he went to the bottom, he just didn't have the same grip down there that he had on the top side. But the 91 is kind of following footstep for footstep. Now look at them, same lane again through 3 and 4. I think the top lane is the way you're going to win this race tonight. But it just seems like the bottom is, you can still find speed down there given a different scenario.
Oh, you definitely can. Actually, Nichols, that was a bad move for him going in behind the tire tracks of the 18, lost a lot of momentum, and actually got passed by Ray Slade. Now it's going to try to work back to the bottom on Ray Slade, the 91, but is that still losing momentum? Can't quite get it done.
Man, they're almost skirt-checking it coming out of it, too. I'm starting to see some looseness out of some of the cars here. Not all of them, but some of them are starting to get a little sideways coming off the corner.
Nichols even pushed up almost into Slate there. Keeping the inside and tight and not pushing up into the driver on the outside has been a challenge tonight. We've seen that kind of be a common denominator. And Seth Noel, to the inside, just dove down there at turn 1 and made that pass.
Something happened to Weishart. I looked up, he had a half-second lead over the one in Noel, and I'm not sure if the one just had that good of a corner, but the 33 was out by 5-6 car lengths and now just lost the lead of the 1.
Yeah, really think it looked like it started when Weiser off of turn 4 just got a really poor exit. Noel just got a really good run, and he combined both, and he just ended up blitzing past him. So solid job by the 1 to get himself back to the top as a Hornets that's bruised behind them.
Yeah, man, that 14 was looking right at the middle. He's going to do it again.
Oh, there he is.
Out of turn 2 this time. Guys,
18 is loose.
Yeah, he's struggling on the bottom. I think he needs that upper groove to really be successful. The bottom has not been friendly to that number 18 Toyota. The 3 of Ryan Hart's kind of trying to pick a lane, figure out which driver's better where.
Now look at the 8. The 8 of Slate is loose too, so the tire's starting to go away for Springer and Slate. Kind of a bad position to be in if you're Ryan Hartz. Don't want to get caught up in an incident. Or Travis Beckner right behind him as well.
Yeah, 45 laps into the stint for most of these drivers, so we've been on track for a while. Here comes the 91 to the inside of Weishart. This is for second. Look at the 28 throw a block on Sturgill.
Yeah, throwing a block on Sturgill and trying to make a move on Springer as he throws the 28 to the inside. Hart's trying to make a move on Rafe Slate up ahead.
Wow.
And Hunter, as you mentioned, the tires getting, the guys starting to get loose. It makes about sense because we saw guys getting loose around lap 18, 20 on the initial run as you see Nichols sliding up the hill.
Watch this.
Out of turn 4. Get loose here.
Ooh, big chase up to the outside wall. Held onto it as he does, but that was certainly a catch moment there. Here's the 8 and the 3 again, nose to tail, and throw the 28 of Beckner into the mix.
Yeah, Beckner doing a little bit of bump drafting down the back straightaway, giving the 3 a bit of a shove. Springer back in contention here, trying to see if he can get past his Weishart. Has a big wiggle off of turn 4.
Slate still wiggling. Weishart wiggling in the middle of the straightaway. Springer taking a 3 wide on the outside. That 33 is dropping like a rock.
Yeah, again, this is what happens if you push too hard too early. This is the thing that the 91 was trying to avoid. They've had almost opposite runs. The 33 shot out like a cannon. The 91 did not. The 91's gaining spots. The 33 is losing them and gets Bio Kresic and now sets his sights on Seth Noel, who has been very solid tonight on restarts and long runs, but how much longer will that car last for?
Yeah, it's going to be the really big question. I'm not sure if Eric necessarily has an answer for us, but Eric, what do you got for us?
I don't have an answer for you right now, but I did tell you that Jake Nichols has won 5 of the last 6 mile-and-a-half races here in the Area Cup Series across this season and last season. So I have that itch that I think he's going to go toward the front, guys. Now, I got some radio for you on the 27 car. One of the other playoff drivers that we have in the field tonight that we really haven't talked much about. He was involved in an incident pretty early. Gabriel Ellison. Here is the radio from Lucky Duck Motorsports talking about where Gabriel is currently sitting in this race.
I'm coming right now, man. I've been saving some tires.
Yeah, that's true.
I drove to the lead at the beginning and absolutely murdered the tires and learned that you can't do that. So now I'm very much not doing that.
Well, the way we know it is that Gabe has to pass. Finished ahead of Mel.
I don't quite know how the math is working out right now, but teammate Douglas Newbigging thought that Gabriel needed to be ahead of Bell to potentially move on to the next round of the playoffs. But even doing so right now, that's still P14. He's got quite a few playoff drivers ahead of him there, including Nichols, Hart, Springer, Beckner, and more. So Gabriel making the moves he needs to, and he learned pretty early on, guys, you need to save those tires for later in the run. It's not necessarily that the fall off is bad here, guys. It's just when you wear that good off, the car does not handle the way you want it to in traffic after about the first 5 or 10 laps if you push too hard.
Yeah, we've seen that with the next gen in particular at some oval tracks where the tire won't get slower, it just starts to handle bad. And this is a complete contrast to, well, I guess this is sort of similar to last week at the IMS road course when we didn't see a lot of fall off, but the cars definitely drove worse later in the run. So, you know, you're gonna get tires no matter what, Finian, but certainly, you know, you're going to beat them up a whole lot more in your head than they actually will lose pace. But how you drive those tires during the run is going to massively change the way your car handles at the end of it.
Yeah, it actually is interesting also, too, that they bring up the point situation because Michael Curran's still all the way back in 34th. He is actually out running on the track. He is 11 laps down, though, so the odds of him getting back in this race are slim to none. So that really opens up 2 playoff spots. There's really only one that was on the being opened up coming in with Matthew Bell being 8th, and now it's Curran being 7th all the way down the pecking order. There's effectively 2 spots up the grab, and the math is going to be really close. At the moment, it looks like there might be a few guys ahead of him. that 24 car, so that's something we have to keep an eye on by the end of the night.
Look at that, Kern, Skyly, and Yoneshiwu, who would be out of the playoffs, and that fourth driver we don't know, but yeah, it's gonna take a while after the race to do the math. Close for the lead here. Okresic looking on the bottom.
Yeah, the 14 got back by the 91 of Jake Nichols, interestingly, and is now going for the race lead. It's a bit of a mid to late run surge for Okresic, and Nichols has actually brought Ryan Hartz with them back into this group, so it's a 4-horse race for first place as this race begins to get down to what I would call the wind down portion. With about 30 minutes of racing remaining, which to me is when I start kind of counting the laps down. Our ticker won't do that till lap 120, but guys, it's already getting close to the end as this battle for the lead rages on. The 14 pushes up into the 1 and Hartz to the bottom.
Yeah, got awfully close to him, and still now he's going to try to make that car as wide as possible. I'm curious with Noel getting that lead as he comes cutting across the 14 of Okresic, almost spinning himself out, trying to get to the apron. He's going to try to make the car as wide as possible. I'm curious how much tire he's got left because he broke out to quite a bit of a lead. Curious if he's going to start dropping back now.
Boy, oh boy, they are slicing and dicing it here inside the top 5. The 8 of Slate has caught up with this. Ricky Springer as well, slowly working his way back towards the front. Meanwhile, third place battle going on between Ryan Hartz and Jake Nichols. And boy, it's insane with how fast Ryan Hartz has been this season, but no cup win to show for it. Wouldn't that be nice to see him pull in the victory lane here at Las Vegas?
He is hungry, that is for certain. He's on the bottom of the racetrack battling a driver who has won a whole bunch of races this season and last. But so far this year, the rich have gotten richer as far as the wins go. Several drivers with multiple wins. Not a whole lot of drivers with singular ones. But the 3 would like to become one of those. Rafe Slate, Ricky Springer, and Michael Sturgill. We haven't really talked about Sturgill or Douglas Newbegin a whole lot. Sturgill started this race in 22nd, Newbegin in 21st. It started on the same row 11, and now they're in the top 10 battling for positions here at the tail end of this race.
Yeah, remember that Michael Sturgill. Remember that when Douglas Newbegin was involved in the initial wreck where we saw them all getting loose off turn 2. He was involved in that wreck, and now he's back up to 8th somehow. That's kind of amazing. But we got Eric Wineland in the booth with us. Eric, got another word?
I'm not necessarily up in the booth with you. I'm still standing down here on the road. But Jacob Bell, I was listening into Jacob Bell Racing, specifically Ryan Hartz was making that move on Jake Nichols. Ryan is probably the quietest driver, one of the quietest I've ever met. Doesn't say a single word, even when he's in an intense battle like he was with Jake Nichols. But his teammate Jacob Bell started talking pit strategy. Listen in.
Wondering who's going to pit first here.
Probably Weishart from 10th. Because he clearly burned his stuff up.
I really want to pit ASAP.
So that was Jacob Bell and Ed Robertson exchanging information there. They suspect that David, since he burnt his stuff up, that he'll be the first to flinch. But these guys are just past the halfway point of their stint with at least the top 10, because the top 10 did not pit under the most previous yellow, whereas 11th on down has, save for a few guys straggled in there like Dwayne Culberson and Brian Chambliss. So expect them on pit road not too far from now, and I agree with Ed Robertson, guys. I would not be surprised to see the 33 be the first to flinch. And to give you a points update as well, since we were talking points, so Gabriel Ellison needed to finish 3 positions ahead of James Scioli. He's going to do that. James Scioli is hurt, but he needed 5 positions on Matthew Bell. And currently, as it stands, Ellison 12th, Matthew Bell way back there in 23rd. That is 5 points. Ellison in right now over Bell, and Kurhan with the damage early. That does open up an additional spot. It's just a matter of whether Cosman Yoneshiwu or Alex Weaver can make up enough points, guys. Alex Weaver might be able to do that if he can improve on his 18th, now 19th place running order. Down pit road comes Jacob Bell. He's the first one to flinch at 92.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're working lap 60 for these drivers since they've been on pit lane. So I think a lot of them are going to be looking to come to pit road relatively quickly. The 77, as you mentioned, Eric, the first to come. Finian, this is going to be a critical stage in this race because you're going to go to the end from here, assuming no more yellows, which once we get into a green flag sequence, is pretty likely that we'll go green to the end. The challenge here, Las Vegas has really difficult track to hit pit lane under green, so that could bring out a yellow all on its own. And more drivers coming this time through. Tom Bourne looks like he's actually coming back out on the racetrack, or not. I have him scored for his 4 seconds in pit lane, which tells me that something is up because he was out of control on the front straight. Here's a look.
Yeah, I was going to say, there have been a couple guys that have been spinning out loose, and Matthew Bell's been struggling with the handling, Danny Ware, and there you see Tom Boyne there coming in and going arguably a little bit too fast to pit lane, so he's going to get back out on the track. And also an update too, looks like we lost Ray Slate. He is disconnected from the server with internet issues, so unfortunate for the 8 as he was running so well up until this point.
It was right in the middle of that pack. Oh.
I was going to say, the 8 just quality dropped out. I'm watching that happen right now, as Finian just pointed out. But man, holy crap, I was scared to death. Tom Bourne just came flying by me down here on pit road. And I was listening to the audio and I said, holy crap, I'm like in the middle of a car. Yeah, that was Tom Bourne running right past me down pit road trying to save his car. Subsequently had his, will get his black flag cleared momentarily by race control once they review the situation.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what's the rule on that? I know in the real world, you've got to slow down to pit road speed no matter what happens, but is the rule here is if it's incidental, you can get that flag cleared?
Absolutely. So it's pretty straightforward. If you wreck on the pit road or anything as the such, that race control will go ahead and clear it, because obviously you are not trying to wreck. And you can also take evasive action down pit road. We really only see that at a place like Daytona, Kyle, but race control does have their eyes on.
Oh, David Weisert spinning onto the track out of turn 4.
Look out!
Caution out.
Oh, man, that's scary. Broadside on the racetrack out of turn 4. Caution out right as some drivers had just come to pit lane. This is going to mix things up.
I'm hearing that's David Weishart.
It is David Weishart. Yeah. He was trying to get to pit road, and I think just spun out coming to pit lane. Here's a look at it. Yep.
Boy, that could have been bad.
Whew. Wow, who just blew by him right there? Was that Yoneshiwu at the end there?
Yep. That was Yoneshiwu in the 84. Right on by.
You can see Chris Ellison passes by as well, and then...
Oh.
Man.
Right on board with the 84.
Now remember, he can't see probably a lot. He can't see exactly where he is at the moment. The last second,
that's 160 miles an hour plus past the stricken 33 car there.
Yeah, if you also want to get right on board with Gabriel Ellison as well, one of the first guys to get up to Weishart.
Oh man,
that is a terrifying sight to see a car spinning up towards your position, and Ellison, I'm sure, just saw his play-out hopes disappear for a second.
Hey guys, radio from David Weishart.
Yeah, I mean, I had it full lock to the left, and it was still just kept going right.
He also just said to the admins and race control that they should EOL the transition for the track, because that's what caused him to spin out. He had the wheel all the way locked left, but it still went back up the banking. Everybody coming down pit road at me, guys. I mean, everybody is coming down. This is the money stop. They're inside their fuel window. They're going to try to make it to the end, and they will still have one more set of tires, maybe 2. After this, I got Gabriel Ellison in the 27 pitting right in front of me right here. Right side's up, down, left side's going up on this 27. He'll get it, pull away as, no, excuse me, who is that? Jake Nichols looked like he won the race off pit road, guys.
Yep, 91 wins the race off pit lane ahead of Okrezik, Hartz, Newbegin, and Sturgill. As we near lap 100, we're going to re-rack everything, restack it for you. But fans, be sure to check out AreaIRacing.shop for merchandise to represent your favorite driver. Shop from our selection of t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, stickers, and more. Use code SWAN for 10% off your order at checkout. We'll step away for one brief moment. Be back in a moment for the restart. back live from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. It's the Area Cup Series, a playoff elimination race. Right now it's the round of 12. Next week it's the round of 8. That means that 4 drivers will be eliminated at the conclusion of tonight's 140-lap race. Las Vegas has been cruel to all the visitors here this week. Big crashes, big-time skids, sparks, smoke, and debris as drivers have to navigate this challenging field of 38 drivers all going for it all. The 7 of Scioli, the 24 of Curhan, the 29 of Rabel, Balancino, Grant, Stafford, and more, all collected in big incidents. There's a battle on the cut line between Ellison and Matthew Bell right now, but Finney and DeCuna, it has been a wild one so far. We're about to hit lap 100 in this very important playoff elimination race.
Yeah, for James Scioli, late luck has definitely dealt him a bad hand. He's currently 3 laps down. He came in before the caution actually came out, and then he came back down now to just get that car fixed up as much as possible. But at this point in the race, with just about 40 laps to go, I think it's going to be too little too late for him to try to recover. So I would say, unless something, again, catastrophic happens to the rest of the order, with the way this race has been going, there's definitely a solid chance of that happening. Michael Curran's also out of solid contention, 11 laps down. So several spots up to guys like you mentioned, Gabriel Ellison, who are running pretty well. Alex Weaver also in the mix, trying to make some spots. And Kazunori Shiwa, actually not sure what he's doing at the moment. He's gotten a few dings, a few bruises tonight. I think by this point he might have gotten the car repairs, sitting up in 14th.
There's been a lot going on, and we still have a lot to settle. Coming to 40 to go here from Las Vegas. Anything can happen. I mean, we saw just a moment ago, David Weishart. Imagine if that was with the pack coming at him, like 3 wide coming out of the corner. That could have been really bad. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. But gonna have Jake Nichols restarting in the lead with Connor Okrezik, Seth Noel around that group, as well as Ryan Hart's gonna restart in 3rd. Keep an eye on the 3 car.
Guys, the point situation is just tighter and tighter as this race is closing in. Curhan with the damage is still out here 11 laps down, but guys, watch, he's going to be picking up some spots from some other guys that have retired from this race. But the points battle is between him, Alex Weaver, Cosmin Yoneshiwa, Gabriel Ellison, and Matthew Bell. Right now, it's Ellison and Yoneshiwa in, and Weaver, if he can gain those spots, he might be able to jump Cosmin coming back to the restart.
40 laps to go in the Area Cup Series. Round 14, playoffs 2 of 5, back underway from Las Vegas. A clean restart by Jake Nichols, who won the race off pit lane. And guys, with 40 to go, it is go time now. Okrezik real high in 1 and 2. That's going to leave. Oh, he's. Uh-oh, what happened to the 14?
He's out.
He's out.
Connection issues.
He manually disconnected. I don't know if he got a black flag. I couldn't even tell or check because he left before he did manually disconnect. That's interesting.
Well, that's something that maybe Eric's going to look into for us, because that's confusing.
Yeah, it sure is.
Nonetheless, still 1-2 Nichols and the Hearts going at it for the win. Meanwhile, right behind him, we got 2 wide, 3 wide.
Oh, 0-9's to the wall. Hard in 1 and 2, guys. Bryce Senesac. And he's also going to alt F4 before we get a caution as everybody scatters on the back straightaway. The 27, the 28, the 22 all switching trading spots. And Hart's to the lead in turn 3.
Wow, how about that coming out of nowhere? You haven't really spoken about the 3 a whole lot, other than being kind of in the middle of the order around 5th or 10th. And now he's finally shot himself up to the lead ahead of this Nichols, Noel, Sturgill, and Springer now is there side by side and behind for 4th.
Oh, Hart's going to protect that bottom, and right behind the 91 is the one of Seth Noel, and to his outside is Ricky Springer trying to get a run off the corner. Going to be a massive run here for the 91 of Nichols, as Weiland might have an update on what happened to Okrezik.
So Bryce Senesac, absolutely an alt F4 from the incident. He didn't want to bring a yellow out. Connor Okrezik, alt F4 because he got a black flag on the restart, and he didn't believe race control was going to clear it for him, so he went ahead and just said, screw it, I'm done for the night. I'm not a playoff driver. I'm not worrying about it. Doesn't look great for us, but meanwhile, we got a massive battle here for the lead. Ricky Springer to the top, boys.
Oh my gosh, this 18 has been ripping the high lane, and again, he goes to the top spot here. He has won 3 races this season, 2 back-to-back, and he's going for another one.
You say he's going for 3 to 3 tonight. And well, again, the pace this 18's had these last couple of weeks. And think about these tracks have nothing in common with each other. He's won at a super speedway, a road course, and now he's leading out of speedway, trying to see if he can take home the win here.
Seth Noel trying to hinder that as he had a massive run, went up to 2nd. Hart's dropped back to 3rd. They are close near the back. That was Danny Ware almost gone to the wall, but Travis Beckner moving up to 4th. They are still dicing it out here, even in the back.
It's getting hectic for sure, but everyone knows it's go time here, Finian.
And looks like we lost another driver, Michael Sturgill. Looks like we might have lost him with internet issues.
The attrition level has been significant. Started this race with 38. There are now just 23 on the lead lap, and only about 27 or 28 still rolling on at the moment. Car in the wall out of turn 2. That's the 0-0, I think. Danny Ware, he keeps it straight, keeps it going. We stay green for now.
He's had his fair share of issues tonight here. Not really mostly due to his own fault. Dealing in the background, looking at Dom DeLeo in the 22. Remember, at the beginning of the race, he dropped back early on, trying to save some fuel. He dropped all the way around the 23rd, 24th. Back now up near the front, effectively where he started, now around 6th place.
Just hovering around that top 5 there is still pretty light towards the back.
That's still slicing and dicing back here. That was, I think, the 2 of Greg Mitchell, who had a promising run last week. Look at the 11 and that's the 0-0 again. The 33's in the middle of it. But up front, the 91 again, suffering on the restart here, Finian, but he's kind of in a good spot now. If he has enough time left, 30 laps to go, to tack that thing back up and get by the front 3, he's in good shape. But there's drivers up here that haven't been here yet, like Travis Beckner, and he's not going to be easy to get by.
No, definitely not. I remember exactly what he did on the last run. He held back for a few laps. Everyone was a bit concerned, and for good measure, because he effectively started to drive through them. He didn't quite get to the lead last run, but he got fairly far up the order. I think he's going to try to see if he can do the same thing this run.
Tries to replicate his favorite driver, Ross Chastain, his racing style. He's certainly matched that, his aggression level in the Area Cup Series, and while back with an update.
Guys, I got Ray recording from IRLC Motorsports. They love to chat with the pit reporter that joins and stays silent. They just want to talk it up. But here's them giving the situation on where Alex Weaver sits with this playoff battle.
We're fine. We're fine. Everything's under control here at IRLC Motorsports.
No, it's not. Don't lie to the man.
Meals.
I'm in shambles right now.
So that was Matthew Bell saying everything is perfectly okay. I'm in the playoffs. And Alex Weaver's like, no, it's not. Nothing is okay. Everything is on fire here at IRLC Motorsports. As they don't feel comfortable in their position currently on the racetrack in terms of where they will end up with points at the end of this thing 30 laps from now, guys.
Is there anybody that's comfortable right now? Ricky Springer and Seth Noel almost crashed out of turn 2. That was tight stuff. We're 3 wide in the midfield. The 81 of Culberson is in the middle between the 71 and the 11. Nope, that was, who else was that? The 13?
Right here.
Man, it's wild out there right now. Look at this out of turn 2. Still packed up. The 3 and the 22 almost have it coming together. Quarter paneled the corner there.
Yeah, Hart's forced to leave it to break a little bit off of turn 2, trying to avoid any contact as he forced himself clear. And still 3 wide in the middle of the field. These guys cannot decide what order they want to keep themselves in. They are very racy here.
That's Jonas Shu in the 84, still trying to make up some ground and see if he can lock himself inside the top 8. Gonna need a lot more to happen though, as they are about to slice and dice for the lead. All over the bumper is Seth Noel, going to give Springer a push down the back. Beckner closing in on the bumper of Noel as well. Going to back off though.
They signed up for a race, didn't they? This is wild stuff. Look at the 33. He's back in the picture. Wasn't he sideways across the racetrack? Almost got obliterated a couple laps ago. Here he is back in 6th.
That's kind of amazing, kind of impressive how far he drove up the order here, side by side with the 3 of Ryan Hart, looking the outside, showing how racy this 33 is late in the going, trying to get himself back up to the front here, a little bit sideways off of 2, but now gets a great run on the back of Jake Nichols, actually checks up.
Yeah, Nichols and Beckner had to check up there, and that's what allowed the 33 to close in massively on the outside. Going to get around the 3 of Hart's coming off the corner. Looks like the 3 got a little loose there, coming off of 4, so the Leo's going to follow the footsteps of the 33 down the front stretch.
This has been a wild one here. Probably one of the best, most competitive races of the season if I had to make a statement like that with 35 laps to go. This is, or 25 laps to go at this stage. We're getting close there, right? Down the backstretch, look at Beckner and the 91. Nichols up to 3rd place. He's creeping back into the picture here. Not clear yet, but he's back in the show.
Yeah, he's trying to get to that top lane. Seth Noel now occupying it. Seth Noel actually a little bit loose. Loses some speed off the corner. Nichols now moving to the bottom. Is he going to go down on the apron on Beckner? He will stick him behind and draft with the 28 into turn 1.
Trying to stick his nose down underneath the 28. Not going to do it. Might get a little loose there from that. So Seth Noel, oh, he got loose from that. So the one got loose. Here comes the 33 of Weishart. Nichols going to tuck in line right in front of the one of Noel. Boy, tough spot to be in if you're David Weishart.
Here comes Beckner having a look at the lead on the bottom out of turn 4. Frantic scrambles here with 25 laps to go, Eric.
Absolutely. I'm going to give you some radio here from the Miller Racing team. I mean, everybody jumped in on this one, so I'll just list off everyone that's in the channel right now. I mean, you got Andrew Player, the 13 car, Cosmin Yoshida in the 84, Dawson Miller spotting for Travis Beckner, who is in the 28, and Seth Noel all mixed in this. Listen in for a nice audio cue from Seth telling you what he is doing by just deciding to push the guy in front of him.
Oh, crap. I missed
All right, Wyland, I'll give you what I've been doing. I got you.
Whoa. We gonna play with him here?
No.
Yeah, is that Weishart coming up on the top?
Yep.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Somebody just almost, yeah.
Ooh.
I gotta cool these freaking tires down.
On top.
You got a punish too.
Yeah.
God damn it. Way too many laps on the top.
So Seth is yelling "wee" every time he decides to push somebody. He's having a little bit of fun out there. Meanwhile, Andrew Player, Travis Beckner, and Cosmin Yoshida definitely not having fun. That was Cosmin upset.
3 wide for the lead, Eric. Sorry, Eric. This is a battle on the backstretch. 3 abreast, the 91 to the top, the 28 to the bottom, and the 3 of Hearts to the outside for second place.
Holy cow, they just had a pincer attack on Ricky Springer, putting him back as he's trying to recover. Beckner loose on the bottom. Springer just now using the advantage of that to rock around the top side. It's getting racy here.
Springer entered turn 3 in first, exited turn 4 in fourth.
Well, Newbigin got loose in the back there as well, but that was really close between the 28, the 18, and the 91. But Jake Nichols prevails out of all that. He's back in the lead. Hart's up to second. And now Beckner trying to regroup here, take third away from Springer.
Wow, that was a wild lap for sure. Coming up on 20 laps to go in just a minute. And Nichols has the lead again. Took him about 15, 20 laps to get back there after getting buried on the restart. Now Springer beginning to falter here. Maybe burned up his stuff here trying to keep that lead, Finney, and he was shredding those tires on that upper groove.
Yeah, I think he's trying to rock it around the outside, see if he can at least clear Travis Beckner, then can start to get some spots back. Seth Noel trying to get a great run in behind him, now looking to his inside as they head off into turn 3.
Well, Noel going to take over the third spot for now. See if 18 has a massive run. He's going to almost tapped him. And Noel is loose, coming off of 4. Beckner going to give him a push, though, keeping him in front. Door to door all throughout the top 5 here. So we got another update from Eric Wyland.
Hey guys, just a quick radio for you from Solar Flare Racing. Jake Nichols, listen in.
New leader, 91.
If I'm the rest of the field, guys, I'm concerned because that sounded like he was getting comfortable up front. The only guy he has to worry about is the one right there in his mirror, the 3 car that you guys are watching. Chase him down right now.
Yeah, give me a short run. I'd pick anybody but the 91 tonight. Give me a long run. The 91's the only safe pick, I think. 20 laps to go. 19 this time through, and the clock is ticking. If a caution comes out, it might be a very different story. But Ryan Hartz is here to play to the bottom in 1 and 2.
Oh, he's not giving up yet. He's not going to let Nichols run away with this. Going to try to work to the inside. It's going to be tough. We've seen that outside. It's pretty good to try to maintain, use the runs off the corner to keep that momentum going. Can't quite get through. He's going to have to yield to the 91.
He's going to clean off the nose there for the 3. Going to have some...
Whoa, Beckner wrecking loose off of turn 4. Side of car off for Hunter.
I was going to say, Hartz actually has a run. He's door-to-door with Nichols now down the front stretch. A better look now than a lap ago as the 3 of Hearts looks to take the lead away from Nichols. Might run him up the track here in the middle 1 and 2. Boy, they are dicing it for the lead.
Side by side, down the back straightaway. 18 laps to go. Ryan Hartz battling for his first Cup victory of the season. Nichols looking for what, his 8th, 9th, 10th? He's counting them like Mike Shank at the Rolex. He's got so many of them at this stage. Coming out of turn 4, 17 to go.
Yeah, actually, Nichols lost that. He got a really rough run out of turn 2, got loose on the top lane, and that's how Hartz was able to seal the deal. Look at the lead that these guys have. Almost a second up on Noel and Springer and everyone else. Now it's starting to chase them back down.
Yeah, they actually would encourage more battling between Hartz and Nichols because then they could actually gain, and Beckner was trying to get around 18 is Springer. They're still going at it for the 4th spot, but Ryan Hart's trying to put the blinders on and keep the 91 at bay. 16 to go when they cross the stripe.
And this is dicey stuff. Hartz has about a car length of a lead, which is pretty safe as far as it comes to Jake Nichols. But again, he might just be cooling off his stuff and giving another run here. Ricky Springer trying to hold off Travis Beckner. Ellison, by the way, in that 27 car is back in the mix. So is Tommy Ryan in the 99. We haven't really talked a lot about Tommy tonight. Started this race in 17th here. He is inside the top 10, battling for 6th in the closing moments.
Yeah, trying to make a move on Ellison. I was waiting to mention Ellison because he's been making some passes, getting himself up here. He's definitely not going to give this up without a fight, trying to make sure he can move on to the next round of playoffs. At the moment, I think I can pretty confidently say he's got it as they run. If more guys start to make up spots, that's when it starts to get iffy, especially guy behind him right now, Cosman Yonishiwa. I think Cosman needs to be 2 spots ahead of Ellison to take the spot away from him. So it's a tough battle between the 27 and the 84.
Points will be tallied after this race, and we'll get the official word hopefully after the checker flag flies, or maybe a little more after that, possibly if we go off the air. But 15 laps left here from Las Vegas. Ryan Hartz has a 2-car length lead over Jake Nichols, and they have a 1-second gap between 3rd place Seth Noel.
Yeah, they're in their own zip code right now. There's still time for those other drivers to chase them back down. Seth Noel last time by was pretty much about a couple hundreds off of Nichols, but I think they're going to have to start battling again. That certainly could happen here. Nichols is essentially matching the pace of Ryan Hartz here, Finian, if not a little bit quicker that time through. It's 61 to Hartz's 70.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised still that they're actually starting to break away again from Seth Noel. So they're kind of in their own little world, the 3 and the 91. And I'm curious if Nichols, if he's got anything left for Hartz.
Doug Newbigin taking a little dive down on the apron down the back.
Hasn't he enough tonight?
Here's a look
He's
at it.
gone for too many rides.
It's in the, I thought he got in the wall, but just pulled it down to the white line. Tell you what, that lead battle getting mighty close again. Jake Nichols experimenting with the high lane, building up this run here onto the back straightaway. 11 laps to go at the line, and Hartz, this is going to be the longest 11 laps of his iRacing career, I'd bet. He's been trying to get one of these Cup Series victories all season long, and he's just got to hold off the winningest driver in Area Cup Series history.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's long overdue for Ryan Hartz. 6 top 5s, 8 top 10s. Has not been able to seal the deal up in the front. He's finished second twice so far at Pocono, New Hampshire, trying to see if he can seal the deal here with 10 laps to go, 11 laps to go.
And remember, last time these two were going at it for the win, Hartz had an opportunity to move Nichols out of the way. And then afterwards, in our post-race interview, he was disgusted with himself because he doesn't race aggressive. He races clean. But I'm sure if the 91 is trying to make a move, that 3 is going to block like hell.
So the 91 also has to think about championship stuff here too. We know Jake Nichols always races clean. We've seen him race that way in the past. But if he decides not to, guys, he was invincible before the playoffs, but now he's not safe anymore. So you got to be careful and cautious. Even though he's got a history of racing clean, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's how it's always going to be, Eric. What you got for us?
We got some pretty juicy audio. Here is the 3 of Ryan Hartz discussing the lead.
I still don't feel comfortable.
You're good, bro. Just knock down laps. I mean, it is what it is at this point. You can't ask for nothing more, you know, than where you're at. So just start knocking down laps, get in the rhythm, finish it off.
Jacob Bell, his team owner, also being a great coach right there for the leader. Meanwhile, this is what Jake Nichols had to say as he chases Ryan Hartz.
Just want to stay in the draft, baby.
Can't run the bottom.
Yeah, if you're totally too free, it doesn't like the bottom.
Good.
I just pushed him away from the field so I can just battle with him only for the win.
The question is, guys, will pushing him away be Jake Nichols' downfall? He has no help from behind in terms of draft. It's all in front of him with the 3, and the gap's not really closing.
No, it's been pretty steady, kind of ebbing and flowing as the laps go on, but I'm not confident yet, as Ryan Hartz is not, that he can hold them off. That is still not a very comfortable gap, but it can all go away in one corner, as we saw with Weishart a couple of times earlier in this race. All Hartz can hope for is for that lap counter to get smaller and smaller and smaller and see that white flag very, very soon, because Nichols is close enough that with 2 good sends into 1 and into the 3, he could get there, Finian.
Yeah, and definitely as that battle brews, there's also the battle in behind them that's also been brewing pretty spicy. Beckner, Springer, Ryan, Ellison, and Yoneshiwu all racing for a spot, and they've been going at it constantly. Yoneshiwu making a huge block on DeLeo, and the reason why Yoneshiwu is racing so aggressively for 8th is because I was just doing the math here in the booth, and he's fighting with Michael Curran now. Curran's in 27th. Trying to make up some spots. Yoneshiwu is looking to be about, as they run right now, he's about 1 or 2 points off of Curran.
Ryan Hartz had a big-time wiggle there out of turn 2 that last time by. That's what allowed Nichols to close the gap. It was actually door-to-door with him. Couldn't quite complete it, though. Massive run here for the 91 Nichols. He's going to jump to the inside, trying to take the lead away. No, he's going to think better of it, tuck back in the line. Boy, oh boy. Imagine the 3 of Hartz, what he's going through right now.
I think it's game on right now. 5 laps to go. If you're Nichols, you're not going to toy with them for too much longer. If you're faster, you're going to make the move soon, because if you wait too much longer, any mistake that you make in anger trying to run past this 3, you might run out of time. So here he goes to the high side here, Finian. It's going to be the next 2 or 3 laps that he's going to have to make this move stick. If he leaves it to the white flag, it's not because he did it on purpose.
No, yeah, I am curious to see what Hartz is going to do. Just trying to make that car as wide as possible. Just kill the momentums, kill the runs, anything that Nichols gets, because it's effectively just these 2 guys fighting at the moment. No one else involved, no one else to interfere.
Oh,
it's just 2 guys racing it out as he slips, he's sliding, and here comes Nichols with the run.
Well, they're door-to-door now. 4 laps to go. Nichols on the outside, Hartz on the inside. Can the 3 hold on to the lead? They're going to send it down into turn 1.
Can't do it.
Chasing up the track a little bit.
Can't do it. I don't think he's got the pace at this stage in the run. He's still right there, but he's not quite close enough to hang on to the quarter panel there. So that's the pass for the lead. 4 laps to go. Very well executed there by the 91. Got around it without touching him. That's how you do it.
Oh, it ain't over. It's not over yet. He's catching back up to the 91. The slipstream with these cars is so big, it's so powerful, and especially because we've seen Jake Nichols have a fair share of himself getting squirrely off these corners. I think that's what Ryan Hart's going to have to hope for here with 3 laps to go. That there's a small mistake from the 91.
Well, he's got a good run that time by, coming out of 2, staying within the draft of Nichols, but he's going to have to send it in a little more. Meanwhile, towards the back, they're all the way towards the apron back there. Doug Newbigging again. Getting blocked by 84 of Yoneshiwu. Now he's looking to the inside, 3 wide with Dom DeLeo.
And what happens if a caution comes out, guys? We're still not in the clear there yet either.
Oh, right in the wall.
Exactly. Nichols hoping for a green run to the end. Hartz maybe wishing
both of them bobbling out of turn 2. Nichols and Hartz lose as they're giving it their all. 110% here as they head into turn 3.
Look at the throttle up that Hartz gets right in the middle of 3 and 4. He's to the bumper as they come to the white flag. Last lap, and Hartz has some overlap in the front straight.
Here they go, drag racing to the line side by side with the white flag in the air as they head off side by side in the turn. Who's going to give, who's going to take here?
Hart's got to throw it down in here deep, Hunter. Oh, side by side again. And Nichols clears the 3, but for how long?
Well, I think it's going to come down to if Ryan Hartz wants to do a Louisiana dive bomb. The 91 blocking down low. Here comes Ryan Hartz, going to send into turn 3. Closing in.
Oh, he's so close out of turn 4, but he can't get there. He has to lift. Jake Nichols comes out of turn 4, gets another one just ahead of Hartz, who gave it everything he had, and 3 wide behind him for about 6th spot.
Ryan was drifting across the line there for that top 5.
Man, you have to feel for Ryan Hartz.
It was right there. I mean, he could have sent him if he wanted to. He got up to the bumper. He just refuses to do so.
Yeah, I was going to say, they nice guys finished last. I wouldn't say nice guys finished last in racing, but nice guys finish second way too often.
Jake Nichols picks up another one. He has been the dominant force all season long. This is win number 8 for the 91 Solar Flare Racing Toyota. And Nichols, by the way, executed perfectly as always. But the last couple moments of that one, I think he was relying a little bit on the fact that Hartz wouldn't use the bumper on him.
Oh, yeah, and I mean, it's a good thing to bet on because he didn't. And Nichols now has 8 wins this season.
So that was pretty wild. Let's go back and follow Jake Nichols and listen to some audio on board the number 3 here.
Man, I'm so fucking heartbroken.
Nah, good run, dude. That was cool. That was a good run.
Guys, Jacob Bell, Coach Ryan, all the way to the finish there. Ryan upset that he could not capitalize on his opportunity that he had right in front of him to win an Area Cup Series race.
He had speed and he had an opportunity, and Nichols and Hartz raced each other like best buds, even though that they're fierce competitors on the racetrack. The challenge, Finian, is that sometimes you got to be a little bit more aggressive if you actually want to get it done. I know that for a lot of drivers, they don't want to take that extra step. They don't want to put that mark on their record, but no one would blame you after the season the 3 has had.
Yeah, I was going to say, the season that Ryan Hartz has had, and after the season that Jake Nichols has had, you can say, he doesn't have to get, one more win to his collection. You could argue, but again, to each their own. If at the end of the day, you got to respect Hartz's commitment to just racing clean like a true racer. I think it's admirable. Unfortunately for him, he's going to have to take home another second place finish, which I think is the last thing he wants at this point. I can imagine the heartbreak in the number 3 camp. And then also I wanted to mention too, looking at 7th and 8th place finishes for Gabriel Ellison and Yoneshiba. We still got to wait for the points to be tallied up, but it's going to be awfully close for the 84. I want to say the 27 is going to be most likely in. The last spot I think is really going to come down to between Yoneshiba and Michael Curran, wherever that kind of ends up.
Finian, I got that number for you.
Oh, do you?
It is up on Sim Racer Hub. Not sure if you guys want to go over the race results first or not.
We'll scroll through them as you guys go over this.
So, Finian, if you get a chance to look at Sim Racer Hub, and huge shout out to Sim Racer Hub for powering the points across all the area series, and their new upload features made it really easy to get these in real fast. Osman Yoneshiba with his 8th place finish tonight, guys. 2 points short of Michael Curhan. Michael Curhan hangs on. And by driving that car 11 laps down and as damaged as it was, Michael Curhan got to the next round of the playoffs.
That was
there's some really big irony in that with Michael Curran. He decided, even being 11 laps down, he stuck with it. A few guys ended up retiring with internet issues or some sort of issue, and he got just enough spots to make it in. And the one big name not moving on to the next round of the playoffs is James Scully, who we saw retired early last week.
Yeah, big news there for Scioli. That crash absolutely ended those hopes pretty quickly. Have a look at this last page of the timing screen, though. All the outs. This was a hugely attrition-filled race, guys. Lots of big crashes and big dramas on top of the unreliable internet for some folks tonight. That definitely affected the outcome of this race. Another driver eliminated is Matthew Bell, who had some great flashes of brilliance this season, but a 21st place is not enough to move him on to round 2, the round of 8. Let's talk to our 3rd place finisher, one driver that was extremely aggressive right from the very get-go. On the initial start, he went 3 wide on the front straightaway, and then that carried over for pretty much the rest of the night. Seth Noel, 3rd place tonight. All the drama was ahead of you at the tail end of the race, but man, you had quite the night battling up there in the front. Take us through your evening.
We had a good night. We started, I think, 24th. Drove to the top 10 in like 3 laps. We're really aggressive on restarts, taking it 3 wide on the top, just trying to get spots while we could while everyone was super saving. And then once we got drag position, we just chilled.
Tonight, the tires seemed to wear out quite a bit, and there was a lot of slipping and sliding around. At what point in the run did you feel like you could start pushing? Because tonight we always talk about comers and goers, but it seemed like that was taken to the extreme this evening.
I mean, there really wasn't ever really a point in the run where you're pushing, but your right rear is just sliding, so you're just managing your slip angle the whole run and just trying not to die. Because if you hit that one slip angle once, you're you're gonna do what happened to the 33 most of the night, which is he was dead sideways after like 20.
Well, Seth, third place tonight. Not in the playoffs, so not competing for a championship. You have the flexibility, kind of take the shots as they come. So third place tonight after starting 24th, a really strong run. And congratulations, we'll see you at the next one. But a good strong night for you in that one Chevrolet.
I appreciate it, boys. I gotta thank my sponsors real quick.
Go for it.
Gotta thank Palmetto State Armory, Collier Cutters, Rick's Hot Sauce, and Miller Racing, and McConey Setup Shops tonight for putting this thing and making it fast.
It was fast. P3 for the number 1 of Seth Noel. Seth, thanks so much.
All right, appreciate it. See you next week.
See ya. Second place, and this was a heartbreaking one for us to watch too, Ryan. I know you felt it in the car. So close again. Turn 3, final lap on the rear bumper of the 91. He's won 7 races. This was his 8th. You were a 10th short. Take us through your mind, your thoughts. I know it's been so close, but probably feels so far.
Oh my God, dude, I am extremely heartbroken right now. Just, man, I'm so close to winning one of these things, but, you know, congrats to Jake. He passed me, you know, he got me loose, and he passed me fair and square, so I tried to dive it in there in the 3, unlike Pocono, but he even said he drove it in hard, so I tried to get back to the gas in 3, but it just washed up the track, so I don't know, man. I was way too loose on that final run. I had a good gap, I felt like, but it just kept getting loose, and of course the heart rate starts to go up and the nerves start to go up, saying, hey, oh my God, is this really finally my turn to get a win? But yeah, it's heartbreaking, but let me tell you something. If I make it to the Final 4, I am coming for that 91 if he's in there too. Let me tell you.
Well, he's got 8 wins. He's in a pretty good spot to make it based on what we've seen so far. You're in really good shape in terms of the points in the playoff picture, but every time you go down there into turn 3 and you've got a driver right there, you know he's got 7 wins. Why not use the bumper just a little bit?
Well, like I said, I tried. I did drive it in deeper than usual. Like, I don't know, man. Just I've never been like that. It's hard to explain, but I don't know. I like racing fair and square. He passed me fair and square, so yeah, he definitely got me loose, and I tried to get him loose. I tried to hit him, honestly, I did. But he drove it in a little bit deeper than me, I think, so and it just started to wash up the track. But no, I'm just gonna try again next week. That's all you can do. But happy for everybody on this JBR team. Thanks to Rick's Hot Sauce for coming on board. Jacob Bell, team owner. They asked me, like, you know, I don't know what you want to know about what Jake's running, or like his lap times. Like, I don't know what you want here on this final run. I'm like, silence. That's all I want. So, yeah, they were trying to help me. So thanks to those guys at JBR. It's been a good playoffs so far, but man, I want to win. So I'm gonna try again in the next week and the next week, and hopefully have a chance at the title.
Well, I can tell you one thing, Ryan. Your racing, the way you race is extremely respectable, and they say that good things come to those who wait. Whether or not you want to wait, that's one thing, Ryan, but you're so close. Best of luck to you next week at Auto Club.
Thanks, guys.
And winner, chicken dinner for the 8th time this season. This one was not without a little bit of competition from Ryan Hart, Seth Noel, Travis Beckner, and others, Jake. Tonight was an interesting one. It seemed like you had to give up a lot of pace at the beginning of the run to make it up at the tail end of it. You led 26 laps tonight, but you were always in contention. Take us through that last run there with Ryan Hart. It seemed like you were kind of toying with them a little bit, but come to that last lap going off into turn 3. Did you think for even a second that he'd move you?
Yeah, after Pocono, after he had a shot at Pocono and didn't do it, I think he had a little different motive going into 3. That's why I had to send it deep. The hardest I've driven into the corner the whole night, because I knew he'd do the exact same, and I just tried to mirror drive him on entry and not overdrive and wreck myself. But man, I don't know. That was a weird race because I don't like rip races. I don't like races that are cold track temp, and we had, like, it was 66, I think, at the start of the race tonight. So it made a lot of people think, well, we have all this grip, I got to go. So if you save tires, you don't want to fall back to 10th, 15th range in case of cautions. So I just tried to do all I could the whole race to save but not fall too far back. I think 9th was kind of my range that I would fall back to, and then I'd bring it back to top 3. But I could never get a grasp of it. My tire wear was kind of backwards in practice. I was wearing left sides more than rights in like a 10-15 lap run. And once we got into the race, it was kind of better. I wore the right front too much occasionally, but I mean, the car was great, especially later in the race there. I kind of felt like I was toying with Hartz for 10 laps there, like 20 to go. When he got by me, I was like, all right, I'm gonna let him go. Just he'll burn his stuff up, and I'm just gonna push him away so it's only him and I for the win. And I've been talking really good about Hartz. I think he picked it up at Charlotte. He rode behind me the whole race and learned, and I knew he would be trouble at these mile-and-a-halves, and tonight showed it because he was right there through and through the last 30 laps of that race. And that's awesome because he made me work for it. I mean, it's not a discredit to anybody in this league, but it's just a credit to him of how hard I had to drive to beat him, because it shows that he's picked it up and he's figured it out not only for 5-10 laps of the run, but for 30-40 laps of the run. And that's key going into these final few races. If you can make sure the tires stay on it and you can have a good pace, then you've got a good chance at the championship in Nashville. But man, Solar Flare Racing Toyota Camry did its job, and we came out here with another win.
Number 8 of the season. It's impressive to watch, Jake, the way that you understand the tire wear, the strategy, the draft, all of that is commendable. Win number 8, I'm sure we're not quite done yet, even though we're running out of races this season. So congratulations, enjoy this one, and best of luck to you next week at Auto Club.
Thank you. See you guys then.
We'll see you later. All right, guys, wrapping things up here from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. It all started way back at the beginning of the night with the kickoff of the race and the dramatic start we had with the one shooting to the outside. That was a sign of things to come with that one of Seth Noel being very aggressive on restarts. But throughout the night, lots of dramas and issues and things of the sort. Drivers getting caught up in big crashes. But after all that said and done, it's Jake Nichols on top of the board again. No surprises there, Finian, but I think we had a really good race tonight. Good competitive racing all the way to the checkered flag.
Absolutely. Fantastic race tonight from everyone involved. Some great racing, some drama, some heartbreak, all tied in one nice package here from the Area Cup Series. Looking forward to when the circus rolls on to next week.
And Hunter, good race tonight. 13 lead changes amongst 8 different leaders. Very good racing up front.
Very good racing. Kind of expected the 3 to push the envelope a little bit with the aggression, especially same scenario, getting the last corner right there, have a chance to move them, decide not to, sticking with clean racing. But we'll see if that is the case as the season rolls on.
Eric Wineland, final thoughts on Las Vegas.
And I don't know that I've worked that hard on pit road, guys, in a long time. Probably since Daytona at the start of the season. I went through about 5, 6, maybe 7 pages of my sampler, listening into the radios that these guys had. What a chaotic night. I mean, we see in the Discord right now, Rafe Slate fell out of the race due to a game security violation out of nowhere that he posted an image of. So that was the difference. I mean, him and Shane Abbey falling out and made sure Michael Curhan could move on because he drove that car 11 laps down still on the racetrack. And man, what a night for these top 8 that are moving on to the next round. And I'm excited to see what Auto Club can bring here in the Area Cup Series next week.
1.5 miles this week, 2 miles next week. We head to Fontana, California for the 15th round of the Area Cup Series. Your top 8 for the round of 8 in the Area Cup Series: Jake Nichols, Ricky Springer, Travis Beckner, Ryan Hartz, David Weishart, Dom DeLeo, Gabriel Ellison, and Michael Curhan. They are still fighting for a championship. Eliminated tonight: Cosmo Yonishiwu, Alex Weaver, Matthew Bell, and James Scioli. That's going to do it for us tonight. We'll see you next week from Auto Club Speedway. And tomorrow night, the Area Truck Series picks up where we left off tonight from Las Vegas. We'll see you then. And then Thursday, same track, same place, Area Lodge Box Series. We'll see you then. Bye.